Welcome to Insert Title here. We are episode 30 already. So we're kind of plugging away just a little bit. And tonight is the first night that we are actually trying Rumble in the Rumble Direct RTMP in. And so far, everything seems to be running smoothly.
Good.
So, yeah, I can't complain. I mean, well, I could, but it's kind of pointless at times. Right? Yeah.
It's never pointless to complain. Let your feelings out.
Well,
Yeah,
I think
depends
it's
on
less
who's
people
going.
yeah.
Who's going to actually listen? Who's going to care?
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm old.
Okay, so we're going to go around and say hello to everyone. We're going to start with our co-host, Darnell Quigley. How are you doing, Darnell?
Howdy. I'm pretty good, man. How about you? I'm alive, I'm healthy, and I know where I am.
So are you going to go out and have a little bit of fun with No Kings?
No.
Yeah.
I'll be the swim meet tomorrow morning.
Well,
Like
a lot of
good
them are
father.
happening in the afternoons. I've been stretching. I got my signs that says deport them all. I've got my sign. I've also got a sign that says, oh no, I probably shouldn't say that. That's not appropriate.
I'll be cleaning the house tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah. I was hoping to be out of the city, visiting a friend, but unfortunately, plans changed there. So no, I'm going to be here and keeping an eye on the news to make sure that they're staying at least away from my area. They start moving in my direction. I'm getting in my vehicle and I'm leaving.
That's the smartest thing you can do.
Yeah.
Hey, it's time to deploy the claymores.
I like what
the clit.
I like what the one of the sheriffs there in Florida said about what would happen if they got out of hand. Also joining us this evening, also joining us this evening is Hot Wax, aka Jay. How are you doing this evening, Jay?
Oh, I'm doing great. We had a big dinner at Olive Garden, big family get together, and I'm stuffed. I can't even move. I barely got into the garage, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to sit my ass down. I'm not moving. But yeah, I'm glad to be here. It was kind of a weird day, Friday the 13th. Yeah, it was everything, brain fog, the whole family, same way. Yeah, it's been a crazy day. Something's happening in the air. I'm wondering about that No Kings thing tomorrow. I'm thinking they're already storming the Capitol as we speak. And there's already signs of them pushing into the cops, so you never know. Keep your eyes on a swivel, boys.
I will say this much.
The idea that they're going to denigrate the Army's birthday just because it also happens to be Trump's birthday is so obnoxious. I can't even.
Yeah. Also joining us this evening is ArzaChats. How are you doing, Arza?
I'm doing just dandy. Thanks for asking. Just been going around doing normal things. Got my videos out, but I haven't done a video in 2 days because there's been no news worth covering that anybody gives a shit about. And the one thing I find really ironic about the No Kings Day is it's being done on Flag Day. Do you gents know the origins of Flag Day? It was a ploy designed to sell American flags. Some guy was like, I want to get rich fast. How do I do that?
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's create a day celebrating the flag and institutionalize the national anthem. Not national, sorry, the Pledge of Allegiance, so that we can encourage people to put flags in their schools, so that every school in the world in America would buy flags. It was a ploy to sell flags, and when you chase
capitalism,
when you chase the money just like that, that's exactly what you'll find with these bullshit protests. Follow the money, and you'll find equal desire for wealth hidden within these ones as well.
Wow, it almost sounds like you would be on
These
board
ones
with
actually don't
attacking
want wealth as much as they want power.
It really feels like you would so attack Valentine's Day.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, that one at least had a slightly normal.
You don't fucking touch Thanksgiving, or we're gonna have a fight.
And you know
touch my stuffing.
Thanksgiving is simply brought to you by Big Turkey.
I wouldn't touch your stuffing unless you took me out to dinner first.
Right?
Also joining us this
I was
evening-
raised in New York, where we had to actually do the projects on Thanksgiving and talk about the local natives and what was going on at that time. So I know that Thanksgiving's legit.
I was
God
in
bless
Boston where we
capitalism.
celebrated
God-
getting rid of them.
God bless capitalism. God bless imperialism. Also joining us this evening, Tiny But Fierce. How you doing, Tiny?
I'm okay. Been a bit of a hard day, so I'm going to stay off screen probably most of this, but I love to be here whenever I can make it. And I hope to be at least a little bit helpful, but I do have to admit I've never actually seen a single episode of The Office.
You're not alone, Tiny.
Okay.
Really?
I was literally like, should I not even come on tonight? I have no
I was
idea what to
thinking that
say.
too. I'm like, no. But I'm going to be a sport. I've watched a couple little clips. My kids have played, showed me. It's funny, but I never actually sat down and watched a whole series through.
I've never even seen a single
3-4
episode,
times.
but
Yeah.
you and
3 or
me, Jay,
4
we're gonna
times.
stick together tonight.
Well, Tiny,
got
if
it.
only you knew a guy who had the whole series on a server.
Yeah, but then I'd have to actually sit down and watch it.
That requires usually some guy's basement server.
You
That's
have
weird.
no. You have no room to talk. You don't watch shit.
You
Yeah.
just buy it and put it on a
Excuse me?
shelf.
I've been busy catching
Yeah.
up on some of my anime. I
You
don't
buy
have
it
time for
and look at it on the shelf.
I watched some of it.
Some. How
Yeah,
much
you
is
want to know
some?
what at this point, I almost think he just keeps building that collection, lays on the bed, and he's like, "Oh, look at that collection!"
He'll lay some on the bed like people like they lay on a bed of money. He puts his boobies down. He's like, oh yeah,
Oh, VHS.
oh yeah. Starts piling VHSs on. Oh god, it's so
Carefully
good.
folds the tapes out.
Yes.
And some of those hard plastic ones there, you just
He gets the
Oh.
DVDs out. And he like cuts a bigger hole.
Oh,
He's
you
like,
can hear that creak of the. Oh, that
I don't
it's
need a
like,
bigger
oh,
hole.
I'm gonna open my copy of the Disney Vault. Oh, listen to that
Oh.
sound. Oh,
creak.
he's gonna get one.
Yeah. He's got that copy.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
and I'm spent.
Well, thank you
Yeah,
everyone for joining the
we're good.
down here. Well, over in the Rumble chat, I know we will be eventually getting some more, but currently we're saying hello to Devastator. How are you doing this evening?
Hey, Devastator.
Pal.
That's weird. That's the Rumble chat?
That's the Rumble chat. So because I'm using the ingress, and I've popped out, not the ingress, I'm doing the direct, and with the direct you can pop it out, and I can pull it out. Yeah. And
So
put it.
you have to leave this, go to his live tab, and it's there.
Yeah, well, I've got the pop-out live chat sitting right here, and it's none of that.
No. You need to leave what you're in, go to his live tab, go to his page,
Go back
and
to
you
it.
see like
Oh
YouTube
no,
has
wait, no,
live.
you can do it from the actual stream.
No. What happened is I created a standard.
You can't schedule ahead.
You can't schedule.
Okay.
So go to his live
So I
tab.
have to go back to his
Go
main
to-
page.
Yeah, and then click on
look
live,
for the one that's live.
and you'll see it there.
Okay, and then refresh. Live.
Yep.
There's one. There should be a live.
Okay. Okay.
Well, because I can do the
now-
pop-out chat from just within the actual stream.
Yeah.
Okay, there we
Jamie's in the
go.
wrong one.
Yeah, Jason's not in the right
Yeah.
one.
Ah,
Now I've got it.
There you go.
Now I got it.
Yeah, I killed off the other one.
I get you.
how ruthless.
Right?
Yeah. It's just what you got
I
to do.
put so much work into that.
That day, I know. I know. Well, then say hello to the chat. I mean, since you're now in it properly, right?
That sound like a really stupid autistic
there we go.
Oh, tell me what to do, devil woman.
Is Ruth a word?
Oh, there we go.
Is what a word?
Now
Ruth?
I mean, that's a lot of work right there. So we got a
Ruth
thick
is a
good
name.
day and party.
No. Because ruthless implies the lack of Ruth.
He's right.
Mm-hmm.
So is Ruth a word? Is there a word called like Ruthful? We're like,
What? It's
I
the
don't
same.
know.
It's.
It's
To
my
make it
nickname,
full.
but that's about all I know.
Okay.
I mean, there. I mean, can you just be whelmed instead of
yes, you
overwhelmed?
can. Whelmed is a word.
Yeah, you can, but it's very rarely ever used. They just use over and underwhelmed. But he's right.
Right.
Whelmed is actually a word. It's just never ever.
So
used.
then that would be middle then, because one's
Yeah.
over it and
Well,
one's
yep.
under it.
Yeah, whelm just means you're average or whatever.
Your middle
Just
whelm.
average.
Is.
So you're in the
Middle
middle of so you're the whelm in the middle of a over and underwhelmed sandwich. Got it.
Pretty much. Yeah.
That's
It's kind of like just a plain cheese sandwich.
gross.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean,
Unless it's grilled.
you could say that Ruth had a lot of positive,
Yeah.
charitable attributes. So to be ruthless is to have no charity towards people.
I think you're being biased.
I'm trying to find a way to make it make sense.
Huh. Okay. So according to Grok, ruthless comes from the word rue, like you will rue the day, meaning to have mercy or sorrow,
Yeah.
or sorrow or remorse. And so to be ruthless is to be without rue.
So without sorrow or
Okay.
without remorse.
So it's Ruth, not Ruth.
Yep.
Okay.
Also joining us in the Rumble chat is my Rumble bot.
Hey, Rumblebot.
My Rumble
Welcome.
bot is now working, so make sure you hit that like and follow button, or ICE will randomly visit your house.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
I don't mind talking to some old buddies. Yeah, sure. Why not?
Now, one thing that
We could have a beer.
I'm more and more learning about Rumble using these bots and setting it up, because normally you got to put the links in for everyone that's in the chat and stuff like that. You can set it up that it will automatically populate and put it in a timing, and it will just kind of rotate through. So it'll put
Okay.
people's links in automatically.
Nice.
So we're going to play a little bit around with this and make it a little bit easier. It's like I don't need a direct producer. I can just have my co-host myself, and we'd go and do that. And I don't have to drop links anymore or anything like that, and take so much out of my hands. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
AI
you're gonna be
helping
so
you out?
lonely without all those tasks. You're gonna miss them.
No.
Not really. But
Well,
it doesn't work over on YouTube, but that's why I'm kind of like, well, fuck YouTube. Commie bastards. We don't want bots. We don't want that stuff. We don't want to make your life easier on YouTube.
Right?
And
Yeah,
fucking Bono.
fucking-
Don't even get me started
Oh.
on Bono.
Don't even go there.
Oh, wait. You talking about the band?
I'm talking that one too.
Well, you too, but not you too.
You
But all I
too.
can
I
say
know,
is every single time that I ever hear that song, that he's still searching for what he's looking
Oh.
for, I will say out loud, you've been looking since the 80s. Give it up already. If you're not found it yet, you're never gonna fucking find it.
I've-
No.
no, I'm not a fan of them.
Now, Fly By Night. No, that's different. Tom Sawyer. No. And of course, Sean's not here, so we can't kind
Of course,
I was about to say
spit
that.
him off.
Yeah, fuck them.
And the
But
worst
keep
thing
in
ever.
mind, I
is
do
what-
have the. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead,
the worst-
Arza.
The worst thing ever is that my little sister is now also discovering all of these 80s, 90s music.
Why is it bad?
Sweet.
It's a good
Because-
thing, except for the fact that it's her.
But people are bored with the music that they're playing now. Like I go through music lists to see
This
what's
isn't
new
music.
and what's current. And some of it's good. Some of it is just a derivative of the same stuff.
The only good
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
that comes out nowadays is all indie stuff. Like indie folk is basically the only genre that's still alive right now.
There's a really
Yeah.
great YouTube short with a guy pretending to be like young, puts a song on that sounded vaguely familiar, but it's a brand new song. And the guy then dresses up as his own father and plays the original song from the 90s. And then the guy
Okay.
dresses up as his own grandfather and plays the original song from the 70s. It's
Right?
all derivative. Everybody takes something from somebody else.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like
Different
as
words,
much as I
but
like,
the exact same fucking melody.
yeah.
Well, I mean, like,
Well,
Nate, I
have
did
you guys
not.
heard the song Anxiety?
Yes.
It literally takes the entire music line from somebody that I used to know by Goatee, takes the
Yep.
entire musical track and then puts it in and says it's sampling it.
Yep.
Which I think if you think about it, it's actually
Might
something
have
kind
been
of
the song
ironic.
he was talking about, actually. I don't
Yeah.
remember.
I've
So
heard,
it's one of the
I've
worst songs I've
heard
ever
of this.
heard.
Yeah.
But I've noticed that a lot of music has basically become a black culture circle jerk, kind of.
Yeah,
And
they-
ironically, they like to use sampling so much. So of course, the black culture music is what's stealing the beat, the line progression from all other songs.
Well, yeah. They've got nothing else to use, right?
I mean, a riot happens, and all of a sudden, everyone's got new Nikes.
They're hiding
Not
bread
saying
in the
there's
cereals.
correlation in any kind of way, but I mean, the argument that could be used is that white people stole rock and roll from the blacks, and so they're just trying to steal it back.
Wait, but goatee's not rock and roll.
No,
but it was a one-hit wonder, so it got traction. And how else can you get more traction by stealing the traction?
Also, no, white people didn't steal rock and roll because rock and roll was stolen from folk music to make blues music, and then blues.
Yeah, it's all a derivative of each other, just in how you chord structure everything.
So ours has just gone full. The white people thought of it first.
Hey, bluegrass was there before the blues.
Yeah, it's
and
the stuff that was played in
bluegrass
the
with different with a guitar instead of a banjo.
Yeah, they got closer to the city. So like the older ones that just played it on the spoons and everything else, they were deep in the woods.
Yep.
Then they came to the cities and found guitars. Yeah, and then started, oh hey, we can play these instruments. Okay, let's do this. And then it just progressed.
Well, that's the one thing. It's like, let's say one race does kind of popularize a certain genre, but it doesn't mean it's just theirs.
No.
Yeah.
That's the biggest problem.
In Living Color.
That happens. Yeah.
Exactly.
In Living Color. Seven does.
Exactly.
Here's what made me think about it a lot was a lot of music is going through, and you notice the influence of modern black music and like black music going back to the 90s really dominating modern music. But the problem is it's not very good. There's very little depth to any of this music. It's a lot of duplication, a lot of copying. And I guess it's like the musical equivalent of this black fatigue that everyone talks about.
Yeah. Well, it's very repetitive. It never has any kind of a change up or a progression.
It's like AI
slow down.
in its self-consumption.
But I think that's true though of a lot of art, if you will, from Hollywood, from music. It's the fact that there doesn't seem to be any kind of new creativity, or there's no taking any kind of risks anymore. Everything is all trying to be sanitized, easy to digest, cookie cutter. So yeah, and that's why when a group comes out or a movie that breaks that mold and does something different, ends up blowing up a little bit. It actually blows up because it's something that's outside that cookie cutter formulaic lack of imagination.
Well, take a look at a group called Sleep Token. Their latest album, I'm blown away by it because it's got so many different genres of sound. Like there's some jazz in there, there's rap, there's heavy metal, thrash, freaking screaming, whatever, and good lyrics. And some of the songs is like blows your mind if you read them, and I can follow along with it. It's like wow. But a lot of people can't get into it because it's not that cookie cutter style. Yeah. Like I tried playing it for my wife, and she's like, "No, I can't do it." I'm like,
I've had some issues. Like the band I'm most glad my little sister has gone into is a small folk rock band called Poor Man's Poison. I think they're one of the greatest bands I've ever had the pleasure of listening to. I love their discography, but they really blew up because of one song that some artists found it really easy to do a draw over of. But it's interesting. That song is kind of like these old rock stories that musicians like Rush used to tell. It's a 3-minute compressed story that you could easily. It's kind of like The Gambler, where you could make a movie out of that song. And it would really work for that.
Well, take a look at Six Pack. That was actually a movie that Kenny Rogers did. I'm not sure if you know that. I don't. But the soundtrack in that movie was amazing, and it brought you to the movie. It worked. It melded. No,
we got Sinners. I'm very happy we got that. Sinners is it was the vampire movie that came out recently by the guy
Ryan
Coogler.
Ryan Coogler.
And it's set in post-slavery the South, but before any of the black people could actually get out of the South. So they're all basically working slave wage down there. It's all deeply about music and how music can connect you with the past, present, and the future.
Oh yeah.
There's an Irish vampire who wants to collect this ability to connect to the past through music.
I might actually have to catch that series.
Such a good movie.
Drop me links if you can. You got me on on X.
It was a movie.
Whatever.
It was in theaters recently.
Oh, was it? Okay. But that and the that group that you were talking about. I like to see all new music. That's my thing. Like, if I can't do anything else, like I don't do my work outside of work. That's why electronics and music and home audio and that kind of stuff. That's my passion.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that I kind of want to get more into the looking more into some of the music because I grew up and music was a lot of what my life was. So I mean, it's just and trying to listen. So I'm granted, I'm definitely a child of my generation. So my music tastes are really kind of locked into 90s rock, late 80s, 90s rock. That's kind of where it is now. Granted, having parents that are boomers, I also have 60s, 70s rock, the birth. I mean, right. So that is where all my music. That's where all my musical tastes are, and so it really makes it difficult actually listening to a lot of this modern stuff. And I just listen to it. And it's like this. I hate it because it makes me sound like an old person going, "This is just garbage noise."
Oh, it is.
Well, one of the things that I do, Spotify every single week will give you a playlist about 30 songs that it thinks you'll like, and I used to listen to it weekly. And I stopped because it's really bad. So I mean, I grew up and listening to
some of it.
I get very little good music in there, but like, so my brother listens to bands like Egypt Central, which I doubt any of you guys know. Of course, 3 Days Grace, and different rock bands like that. I listen to my dad's music. I like. There's a lot of folk. A band called Voltaire, a singer named Leslie Fish, who's got a horrendous voice, but she does great music. So I've got a really wide one, and like the weirdest band is something called Poor Man's Poison, or not Poison, no, that's wrong. Miracle of Sound, sorry, who is a one-man band, and what he does is he writes songs based off of video games or TV shows, but they're actually really good songs. Like you could listen to them separated from the story that's being told.
I got a little troublemaker here in the right behind me.
Mine's nice and sleeping.
Yeah, mine literally jumped on my lap like 4 minutes ago. I was really glad I didn't.
But no, it's like I'm listening to my Spotify weekly. It's all like sea shanties, which I like some of them, not all of them, but I like some. And then it's a lot of just modern junk or cookie cutter Christ music, which doesn't do anything, or just nerd music. And if you ever had the displeasure of listening to nerd music, a lot of
what do you class as nerd?
No, nerd. It's a specific genre of music where it's like
songs about Lord of the Rings.
That's nerd music to me.
Self-referential songs about Mario. How excited this guy is to go play Mario.
Okay, well that just sounds like ultra gay.
Weird.
Yeah,
that's weird.
Yeah, no, it's there are people who listen to it. I know somebody who listens to it. It's really bad stuff.
Ha! Gay!
You guys do not know how bad the judges of music go.
Oh, we do.
Oh, we do.
Okay, so now the thing about it is that I went to, I did go to very briefly college, and I was actually in a music business program. And I will say though that granted that was 2000 when I was in college, and you had the rising of R&B in popularity and rap, and I was going, this is just a fad. It's not going to get the mainstream. It's so mainstream. Rock is going to have a resurgence, and rock is going to retake and all this stuff. Boy, was I fucking wrong.
Right.
Well, I think it's the prevalence of R&B is something that's really interesting as well. Because my twin sister listened to a lot of R&B when she was around black friends, but now that she's with a guy and has a kid, she's gotten listening to a lot more country music, which is
I have noticed I've noticed there has been an increase of country music.
Yeah, but it's it's like a more of a transition back to like an Eagles style.
But it's not country. No, it's not country anymore though. It's fucking rap country.
Yeah, well, some of it is.
A lot of it is.
And then there's also metal country.
All the popular.
Have you heard the song "Something in the Orange"?
No.
Like that is solid country. It's one of the best songs I've ever heard. I forget who sings it, but it's just this guy singing about his wife leaving him, as most
Like,
country songs are.
But all the
Play
popular
backwards to get it
country
back.
is that fucking rap shit. That rap country. And it's fucking stupid. I hate it. I fucking hate it.
Well, I blame Billy Cyrus for the part of that.
My
Old time.
achy
Hey,
breaky
Breaky
heart.
Heart isn't rap.
No,
Yeah, but-
no. I'm talking about Old Town Road. His
Oh, yeah.
collaboration.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, when you
Yeah,
start doing
okay.
that type of stuff,
I
that
forgot
is
about
where
that
it
song.
starts building it.
Mhm.
But I mean, if you really look at it, I mean, kind of Big and Rich had a little bit of that going in there.
Yeah.
I mean, it was minor back then. It wasn't like
Yeah,
it didn't
right.
dominate, you know?
It wasn't the dominating factor of the music.
Oh, country's not dominated by that rap shit. That rap
Yeah.
country
Yeah.
shit.
Oh, I get it.
A song in
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
here and there, we'll get through. It's not that, but most of the top shit is that rap stuff. My fucking kids listen to it all the goddamn time in the car with my wife, and I hate it.
Yeah.
Well, this is might sound a
Arrow,
bit.
I sent you a picture on on Twitter. I sent you a picture. That's my collection of what I have for vinyl. So when it comes to music and stuff that like from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000,
Good damn.
right? Like everything, it starts
What are
from
they?
the top corner on the
He
left.
listens to this
that's
shit.
A.
Yes, he actually listens to that.
I'm going to give an opinion that people are not going to respect, but I think vinyl's overrated.
Okay, fair.
Sure, fair enough.
Hey,
but
no.
like,
I mean, just like VHS.
Oh, I agree
Right?
too on that one. But I think
Exactly.
CDs are a far better medium than vinyl.
sound quality differences, I can blow it out of the water on that. Just because of the equipment that's on the backside of where you're seeing. I've got like 3 or 4 different turntables with like $500 to $1,000 cartridges on them, and I've done comparisons between the CD and the record, doing A/B, same song playing, and people are blown away. They were just like, "That's a record? That was a CD? It's compressed."
Yeah, no, I'm not going to deny that records probably don't. Or I'm sure records have far better music or sound to them, but I also have to look at the convenience factor. of a
Convenience?
record.
Oh, hell yeah. Totally. Like, I can't take those with me everywhere. And, like, I use the Spotify all the time on my phone. I can't take all those records with me, but I've got a collection of, like, 6,000 albums and songs on here. My daughter's
I used to
pissed
settle
because she's...
for a. Used to settle for a shitty MP3 player and even worse headphones. I can deal with bad music quality.
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah, for convenience on the way, like I was the Walkman kid. I had like a top of the line AWA freaking Walkman that could record, auto reverse, the whole flipping deal. But every time you ran, the warble was horrible.
Yeah.
So it wasn't as convenient.
I'll never have to deal with that. Thank God.
Oh god, the Discman, and when it first
That
came
too.
out,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing
trying
is,
to rollerblade with that thing in your pocket.
I mean, technology. I mean, changed. I mean, granted, I think we were in the transit, digital music in itself, because you had the compression and everything. Then even CDs had compression on them.
Oh yeah.
Where vinyl, and I will even go so much to even say cassette, had at least a wider range. Vinyl
it's the warmth of
specifically
it.
had much more fuller sounding
Yeah.
and deeper range than a lot of the digital stuff.
If you had a cartridge that actually went above the human hearing, you could allow the music to flow out. So harmonics that come off of a cymbal, like Supertramp, Crime of the Century, you put those two together, the CD and the half-speed master from MFSL, and you put them side by side, and the cymbals, when they hit it, it carries on the record. On the CD, it goes clink, because they remove anything that's not needed. Harmonics aren't needed, so they can compress it more onto that CD.
Yeah.
Sure, it's convenient, but you get that compression of artifacts that are needed. So I find with digital, I get fatigue. If I listen to it for too long, I get fatigue from listening to it. It just sounds draining. Where I can throw on a vinyl and I can go all night, and it's like, oh shit, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I gotta work in 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get quite to that point when I'm listening to
Yeah,
music.
well, Like I'll put an album on, and then it's like, oh yeah, I remember that one, and I'll go.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's a recycling. It's like
Yeah, you
one
get
album
sucked
makes
in.
you think of another.
It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
movies. You watch a movie, like, oh, I want to. Oh, it got me in the mood to watch this. It got me. I want to watch the sequel. I want to watch the other sequel.
Yep.
And then next thing you know, it's
But-
like fucking
I
2
bet
days later.
Where the thing is that the collecting of vinyls that's starting to happen again is the same thing with like ours with the VHS. It's the physical media. It's a physical object, and that's what people want.
Instead
Vinyl
of
is actually the big one right now. I think CDs are currently bigger than vinyls.
I don't
I
see them
haven't
in
seen.
stores anywhere.
I don't see. No, our London Drugs has a way bigger record section than the CD.
Oh, I know,
Yeah,
but
way
I
bigger.
think CDs are currently making a significantly bigger comeback than vinyls are, because vinyl comes in waves. But like the people I know, especially my little sister, are going out and they're buying CDs. They're buying old radios for cheap at Goodwills.
Well, that's where they buy it.
At Goodwills.
Okay,
But
okay, yeah, because like no, you can't. You go to any store, CD sections are gone.
Good luck
Yeah.
finding a CD player. You
Yeah.
can't. You can't
Yeah.
even find
And
those
even
anymore.
the quality ones suck. About the only
Yeah.
way to actually get a good one, unfortunately, I have to say, is you got to get, and that's even difficult, is you've got to get a DVD CD player external for your computer,
When
and
I got
that's
this,
what you actually got to use.
I
Or
got
a
this radio.
PlayStation.
from My little sister. It was like $6 at Goodwill. Wasn't anything fancy, but it's got amazing sound quality. Just and my parents ordered her this like mini one that you can walk around with, and it sounds horrible.
Yeah.
And it's so. I mean, people my age that we like to thrift because it's the trendy thing to do.
Of
And
course.
you can actually find the quality stuff that people used to use back when people valued quality at these locations.
I think
Now-
audiophiles are really kind of starting to make a comeback. I think a lot more people are looking towards that older technology and buying these really massive stereo setups, specifically because of the sound quality. I think we're seeing that resurgence.
Yeah, well, I'm one of them because like I've got like studio monitors from Abbey Road Studios back in the 80s. That's my front speakers, and their baby brothers, the 802s, are in the back. So that's my surround. And I use all high-speed, high-current amps. So I don't use my home theater to do the amplification. I got bigger amps to do it, and it's like it makes it feel like you're a part of the music again. I'll go over to some people's homes that have like these top-of-the-line Eclipse systems, and they're running on their home theater, and you can hear it just limiting and trying to freaking give you the music, and it's so harsh. Like the old equipment, like you're saying, makes it warmer. Now, what you could do for CDs to make it warmer is find yourself a tube amp and play your CDs through a tube amp, and then a pair of bookshelf speakers, and you'll be blown away how much better that'll make it actually sound.
Cool.
It is amazing when you look at the different amplifiers and the technology that was behind it, because I mean, I would say some of the best sounds when it comes to like amplifiers and stuff like that are tube.
Yep. You typically nowadays tube front end, so the preamp section or the input section to a full power amp. If you have a tube input, it'll have the GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. So if you're putting something good in, you're going to have something good out. So yeah, the tube amps, and it makes it so much warmer because everything is now streaming, everything's digital. You've got, what are all those other ones? You know, all the different Spotify versions, Tidal, all those out there. And yeah, you need something that's going to make it not fatiguing, because it's even fatiguing Spotify on my computer. It's
One
not
thing I
good.
am noticing with at least the streaming services is they're starting to turn a little bit because the abundance of bandwidth that is now out there with the increase of the ability, that they're not having to use so much compression. So it is starting to the streaming music and stuff is starting to improve because they are taking it, but it's still a digital algorithm. It is still a digital file. So
still
it's
ones
still
and
gonna
zeros.
have It's yep. So it's still going to have you're still going to have loss. You're never going to have true lossless as if you would have from, let's say, tape. And I'm not talking about like cassette tape. I'm talking about your thicker
reel to
reel tape. And
2 of them.
And
both 4-channel.
and even records, vinyls. So
I grew up in a house there where my dad was an audio collector, repairer, and like if you walked into our place, you'd be like, "There's something wrong with you," because I've got like stereo equipment. I got a quad receiver over there, reel to reel over there. I got a stack of 8 freaking old 4-channel receivers over here, and that's just in my garage. My repair part is on the other side of the wall. I got my bench and I set up and I can start tinkering and fixing. And I got people that are, wanting it even just for their garage because they just want some decent music, but they don't want the crappy freaking Sony all-in-one stereo.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, the weird thing about some music, I don't know if you guys know the song Too Sweet by Hozier.
Too Sweet by Hozier. Not sure
I don't
about
think
that
so.
one.
It's a newer song. Hozier did the song "Take Me to Church." That was really big a few years
I
ago.
cannot stand that song.
My wife's all over it. Yeah, I know your feeling on that.
I really like Hozier, but I hate the audience who really likes Hozier because it's a lot of like crappy white women. But so "Too Sweet" is a song that came out, and this weird thing is it took the internet by like massive storm, just because it sounds fresh. It sounds like real music as opposed to sounding like the R&B recycled trash that they listen to. Most white women listen to nowadays. And the funny thing that happened with it is just this one song was enough to actually change behavior. For like 6 months after its release, white women were constantly going out and ordering whiskey neat because there's a line in it where he takes his whiskey.
That always happens. That always happens with music. When I was bartending, the amount of times people came in and asked me for a drink that I'd never heard of just because some asshole made it up for a rap song, I was really ready to kill people. I was like, that's not a real fucking drink. That's not something that we can make you. I'll make you something that sounds like it, but that's not a fucking real thing, people. Sorry.
Just give me an old fashioned and I'm good.
I'm obviously
whiskey neat's not something most white women can handle, especially 20-year-old ones. And apparently they would go and order it and they couldn't drink it because, they're drinking something with actual flavor.
Right.
So what's your favorite fruity drink there,
Arza? Goes down their throat.
I don't drink a ton of fruity. I don't drink a lot, actually. I mean, pina coladas are good. I like...
He likes pink Moscato.
I don't like pink Moscato.
You drank it! You drank a fucking bottle on stream!
I drank a cup on stream that was this big.
No, you were
drinking
no.
bottle at a point.
A, the cup was bigger than that, and B, we saw the
You
bottle.
drank the whole bottle. You kept like pouring it like, oh, buzzed ours or drunk ours. I don't know what you're saying.
I was not drunk, and the bottle could not have been up here because it was downstairs with my mom who was actively drinking it.
You were in that other room. You weren't in this room.
Yep.
I never had pink Moscato at my dorm.
No, you had you
we
were in a
all
room.
saw that bottle.
No, it's the
And you
same
had a
room.
bookcase to your left.
It was he had a different setup at that time.
Oh, okay. But you did have a bottle of pink Moscato, and you kept drinking it. You kept pouring it in the cup and drinking
you
it.
admitted that you were drinking pink Moscato,
Yes,
and when everybody laughed, you actually you bought the bottle to the camera to make us all
Yes, you
see
did. You
So I
showed
went
us you
downstairs,
were
I
drinking.
kidnapped the bottle from my mom, and then I took it back to her because I didn't keep it up here because she was drinking it.
Well, you must have
Okay,
kept it for a few minutes or something.
Arza's going with the defense of, since you don't have the video of it, it doesn't exist. I don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Those were the days before we had the
drink-
ability to clip.
I drank something one time because my mom bought a bottle. She actually made me buy the bottle of it because she wanted it because she was having a bad day.
Yeah. Mom wanted it.
I wanted
Mommy, I want this.
I did actually have my first old fashioned on my graduation, and that was fucking phenomenal. It was really
They're good, dude.
Yeah.
If they're made right. I had some that taste like fucking garbage.
It was local
Depends
burger
on the
place's
whiskey.
house bourbon.
Okay. You can make with cheap
depends
stuff
on the
and it's still
bourbon.
good.
No, so it wasn't bourbon. It was their house rye whiskey. It was a rye whiskey.
Yeah.
So
You can make a good
Whatever you
shitty
do.
whiskey.
The best I ever
Don't
had
use
was
that
from,
for it.
No. The best
No.
I ever had was from a hotel bar in Washington, D.C. when I was there for military exercises.
Nice.
Everyone in Vegas loves the old fashioned at Trump Tower, the Trump Hotel. Like everyone in Vegas mentioned it last year, and everyone in Vegas mentioned it this year.
I'll have to try it because I never got. I saw the Trump Hotel when I was there, but yeah, I didn't get a chance to go in it.
I was in Orlando and I had my best friend at a hotel. It was a golf resort.
I did get this when I was in Vegas, so I had to make it official there.
Yeah, that was the one thing I didn't do that I said right when we got into town when Theo and I got in was, oh, we got to hit so I can get a Trump hat. We never fucking did. Okay, so we're gonna get into this with some people that have seen the show and some people that have not a clue. This is gonna be interesting.
That would be Tiny and I.
Have you seen this?
I have seen it, and I've got some controversial opinions about the Office.
Well, so does Darnell. Okay, so we're gonna start off with everyone's hypocritical Christian,
Angela. Toby.
No,
I hate her.
I'm gonna go low end. I think she brings something great to the show.
No,
what does
she's
she
a
bring?
fucking hypocrite. But
Yes,
I don't like hypocrites.
hysterical. And I'm going to go a step further. Her will they, won't they with Dwight was better than the will they, won't they between Jim and Pam.
Nope.
Because
Wow.
we knew
hate
the
that
answer
pairing.
between Jim and Pam.
I hate that pairing.
Okay, you have to remove me between these two. Like I don't need to be in the middle of this fight.
I hate the pairing of her and Dwight. It's so
Thank
fucking.
you.
It's so forced.
Yeah.
As I
Tiny.
don't know anything about it, I will say that I hate hypocrisy, so I probably would agree with Darnell.
So she's
Exactly.
super Christian and judges everybody, but doesn't want to be judged for anything.
Well, okay, she's like super salacious. Like so, her and Dwight are both very sexually repressed, very hellfire and brimstone type people. But when they're with each other, they're basically tearing each other's clothes off with their teeth.
But Angela was the one that cheated with Andy, and then cheated with the senator. So
she's a little bit of a floozy. So
yes, Angela's a horrible person. But newsflash, so is everybody else in the Office.
No.
There are almost no good characters in that show.
No.
Oh, this is gonna be a fun night.
You can fuck right off with that.
So at
See,
best,
this is why I need the change.
I can give her. I'm not inclined to put her in Toby status. I'm not inclined to put her really high.
That's fair. I'll take high C. I'll take high C.
I know you want Toby for status, but I understand that. Okay.
S.
S. Yep. S.
Just for the
Stanley is
hentai club.
Stanley is S.
Okay, so we're
Based
going
on-
diversity
based
higher
on
right
what?
into the S.
No, he's not the
Stanley-
diversity hire.
Stanley,
So-
I think, is a good character because of the amount of bullshit he has to put up with the staff, and and I mean the fact that he even admits that essentially the only reason he's staying there is because of like his kids. I mean his kid. And as soon as like every responsibility is taken care of, he retires, and then goes and moves on. However,
Remember,
he does.
what is Stanley's favorite song? Closing Time, because it meant the workday was over.
Yeah.
He doesn't like the song. He just likes getting to go home from work.
He's
Pretzel
there
Day.
for
Pretzel Day.
Okay.
Pretzel Day.
Pretzel Day.
Okay, yeah, fair. Sounds good. What do you think, Tiny?
So, real quick, for you two at the bottom, a lot of these people were the writers in the show.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Interesting.
They wrote the show and they were on the show.
So they wrote themselves as assholes.
No.
Angela, the actress Angela, she is a writer. The
not
one
know
that plays
Phyllis.
Do they
Phyllis-
write their own parts?
no, they
writer of the whole show.
They wrote episodes. When these
Okay.
characters come up, I will state if they were a writer on the show.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, next one up, Dwight.
I'm going to go A.
I've seen him in other stuff. Like I've seen clips of him.
Yeah,
he is funny.
the actor is Rainn Wilson.
The actor's a piece of shit, but the character's funny.
Yeah, like the character. Yeah.
I wanna say-
he should be. So, go.
No, go right ahead.
I'm going to say he should be high B because in all reality, without Jim, Dwight's not very much.
Agreed.
We saw that with the backdoor pilot of The Farm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can go. I want to say kind of A because, well, it isn't just the pairing with him and Jim. He, I think, really suffered when Michael left.
Yeah. The whole show did, though, to be fair.
I actually disagree with that entirely. I think Michael leaving was the best thing for the show.
I hate that. I hate that.
The last couple seasons, I think, were its weakest. And that's even after the first season.
Yeah. Which was super weak.
All right, so I have a feeling my controversial office take is going to be different than your guys', but I'll wait till we get to
I already know yours, Jim. Jim's one of yours. I know that.
We'll find out. Okay, so the next one is, why am I blanking on her character?
Karen.
Thank you. You might have to help me on this because a few of them.
That is Quincy Jones' daughter.
Yes, this is
Rashida
Jones.
See, I really like her from Parks and Rec, and that's
Clouding.
She was cool in this.
Clouding.
And everything that she did is completely explainable because you had the pairing of
she was a normal person.
Going
she
on
wasn't like weird.
Pam and Jim, and essentially Jim dragged her along to the joining of the two different offices
and
to rub it in Pam's face, only to dump her.
Yep.
Wow.
Okay.
That's
Wow.
huge.
Well, I like her. I think she's
B.
Yeah.
I give her B.
High B, really high B.
She wasn't like a huge.
She's not enough of the show.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I was about to say.
She was only really there. She was really only used for one season and then a few little cameos.
But she definitely did carry the other branch plot line. I feel like
yes,
she was really the best part of that plot line.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go B.
Now, are some of these characters that we've already kind of gone through, are they all through at the beginning to the end, or are they like in between seasons?
3 of them
okay,
are.
Stanley is. I know what? I'll add that in when I bring it up about how long they were in the show.
Yeah.
Let's
I'm just wondering how they all work together.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one is Mindy Kaling.
Toby.
Wait till I say the parts about it before you. No. So it's Mindy Kaling. She also was one of the writers. Her character name was Kelly.
Wasn't the fact that she was one of the writers on this one of the reasons they gave her that horrible Velma show?
Yes. See, this one's hard for me to rank because she wrote herself and actually did a really good job of writing herself. That like you actually know people like her in real life. So she's actually a really good representation of that kind of character, but you hate that kind of person with a burning passion.
Toby.
That's the problem.
Yes,
I think that's perfect for Toby. I think that's what the Toby role should be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Real people that you just hate in real life.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, she at least was a little more of a dynamic character in the beginning seasons, but then she went complete, almost like Valley Girl, shopping,
and then
very
just
conceited.
Jumping man to man, just trying to marry everybody she met.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard of your clock going, but that's a bit much.
No, it wasn't that. She needed like a male attention.
Well, she's a whore, and she demands attention from somebody powerful.
But mainly, her focus was always with Ryan.
Yes.
And anyone else that she dated and was going after was just to get at Ryan. So
was
really,
Ryan rich?
No.
She was one of those people, like they're one of those couples that like she was into him, but she liked the drama.
Yep.
Ryan wasn't into her; she was just there.
And what they do to a baby in the last episode, it pisses me off.
Don't remember her having a baby.
No, Ryan did.
Okay,
Ryan
so
did.
the very last episode, they had been apart for some time. Longer. It actually was longer because you had the year jump on top of it. So they were gone for a season, and then they had the year jump into the wedding for the finale. And in that time, he started dating someone else that had a kid.
No, I thought it was his kid.
And it is his kid, yes.
Yeah.
But with another woman, she left. He had the baby, and then when they met back up, he abandoned the baby to be with her, and they ran
And
off.
left the baby with her, the guy she was dating,
Yes.
Wow.
who was
Yep.
a pediatrician.
Wow.
Yep.
I forgot
Holy.
about that.
That's gross.
Wow. What a. I got a couple
Very
letters.
Character that's who her character was.
Okay, so the
I
next
know
one is
who he is
Gabe.
in the-
Gabe came in about halfway through the series.
Sorry, wife.
No. Okay,
That
Gabe
music
came
tone
in
just
halfway
screams
through the
wife.
series. Gangly, very much a corporate stooge type that just liked to lick the feet of whoever was in charge of him.
Mhm.
And Aaron.
And
No,
Aaron.
he was a corporate stooge who wanted to fit in with the actual workers.
At first,
And
He wanted to be
on
part of
top of
the
that,
club.
he thought he had more power than he actually did. Well,
he
he's one
wanted to
of
be
those-
accepted.
Yep. Yep.
After that, it was all about fucking Andy over and Aaron.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go C or Toby with this guy. The
I'm gonna
character
go-
makes me feel dirty.
I'm gonna go. I'm thinking C, unless Arza can convince me that he should be lower. Or do you think he should be
I
higher?
think C is fine. I remember enjoying some of his scenes, but he is the kind of person who kind of feels a little or too real in how gross and slimy he is.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he's too sitcom-y to belong in Toby role. So I think
Yeah.
C's fine.
Okay, yeah.
Meredith. Meredith was through the entire show. Yeah. Meredith is a great character.
She's also a writer on the show.
Yeah, she also was a writer. I also think that she was one of the greatest characters on that show
Mhm.
because of her addictions, her outrageous character. Let's see what else is there, and then on the final episode to say, "Hey, well, what the show didn't show, what the documentary doesn't show, is that I was actually going to college during the entire time." So I was just a college student, and I was having my college experience.
Yeah. So she was an alcoholic with 2 teenage sons, a single mother,
And a slut. She was a slut.
and a slut.
Yeah.
But she was really funny.
A lot of them.
Really funny character.
See, I didn't like her. I actually hated her character.
Really?
I think
Really?
part of the problem is I get something else out of sitcoms.
Mm-hmm.
I like the more realistic-ish
Well-
sitcoms, personally.
I'm gonna go on a limb here. I think our age is why we like her so much.
Maybe. Because when I think of my
we
first
were
sitcoms, I'm
we were
thinking
just under her age when the show was out.
All right.
I'm gonna have to. I'll drop it to an A because it seems like that with the lower and the higher. We're gonna go with A with Meredith.
Okay.
Okay, Roy. Roy was mainly only in the first 2 seasons and then pops up one other time.
No, he kept coming in and out.
No, he didn't.
No, not that much.
Yeah.
You only showed up a handful of times.
He
After
he only
season 2?
showed up like after season 2. I think he only shows up 3 more
That's what I'm
times.
saying. He kept coming back in and out.
Right, but only to essentially impart to try to direct the relationship of Pam and
Jim.
His role
Sounds like a
was-
lot of in and out in this show.
Well,
not
his
as
role
much.
in the show was to be Pam's boyfriend when Jim falls in love with Pam.
A
Fiancé.
shitty, neglectful
fiance,
boyfriend.
not boyfriend,
That's
fiance.
right, fiance.
Yeah,
He was
his
very
job was to be the
neglectful.
one, the roadblock to the will they won't they, because one of the will they won't they's is already in a relationship. That was his role, was to be the blocker and the will they
Right,
won't
but from the beginning, from the beginning, the will they won't they couple that out of that, they just look like they belong together. He's with her, she's with him because he's convenient, and she's like, I guess not sheltered, but like that's the best she can. She thinks that's the best she can get, so she stays with him. It's kind of a
I
piece
don't
of
remember
shit.
a ton about Roy
Right?
except for feeling bad for him. A
Sounds
little
like
bit.
it.
I didn't till later, especially when they showed the episode where he made his fortune starting that business.
Yeah,
I was like,
I don't
okay,
remember, I don't really
good
remember
for
much
him.
of his recovery
grew.
or his later scenes.
His character, the character developed
Developed.
off screen. Really developed big time.
And I'm wondering if that was kind of a symptom also of Pam herself. That
Possibly,
maybe
yeah.
might have been roadblocking him from moving on,
Mhm.
being able to do things. I would say Roy is kind of a B.
Yeah, especially because you can't have the show without Roy in it, because he's responsible for a lot of development for a lot of characters.
I love the actor. I wish he'd have been in more. Little known
Like,
fact: the movie 13 Hours. Him and the guy who plays Jim are in it as the 4 guys who Hillary Clinton leaves and they get killed. They both play 2 soldiers.
Okay.
Huh. But I mean, Roy is really responsible for Dwight and Jim forming a strong relationship as well.
Yeah.
So I think he's solid.
Who's got sirens running around right now? Okay, I figured.
It's No Kings in Canada has already started.
Yeah, it's already going. I'm gonna bring this back down.
So next is
Craig. Not Craig. Daryl.
Daryl.
Yeah.
So he's a warehouse manager. He's there the entire series. He's just an actor on the show. He doesn't have any other additional roles past that. Thoughts?
Like what role did he have? Like was he?
He was
looks like
he was
janitor.
a warehouse guy.
Warehouse guy.
They got promoted to warehouse manager.
But warehouse straight man, basically, he isn't really in on the weirdness of the office. He's kind of the normal person in the office.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think I'd say he belongs in Toby tier because he's kind of a little too realistic of a character.
I can't give you that.
I like B and A. B or A for me.
I B is where I'm kind of falling with him.
I also B too because he's a good character.
Because he's a straight man.
He's the straight man. On top of that, I think he's more the character. I think he's more of the audience insert, watching the insanity going on and having those opinions of kind of what's going on.
Also, when you got the diversity hire job.
That's right. That's right. He did.
He was hired as office manager. The only reason he was the office manager was because he was black.
Yep.
And,
that was a big joke on the show.
Yep.
But no, like Emerald said, if you watch the show, when you start seeing when he starts becoming more and more like prevalent in the later, like the middle and towards the end, when he became, he moved up from the warehouse up into the office floor. Yeah. You would look at it like, man, if you were working in this office, you'd probably be his role because, like he says, he was just a dude in an office full of freaks.
Yep.
Okay.
Watching it happen around you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So
now,
he's watching
granted, what keeps him brings him down a little bit is he did get himself involved with Kelly.
Yeah.
Like who didn't get involved with this Kelly? Like
quite a few.
But she
did or didn't?
Didn't.
Okay.
Kelly got a lot of guys outside the office too.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, Robert California.
S.
What?
He has that one phenomenal scene where Andy tries to get to threaten him. It's like, okay, son, you don't know who I am. And
I like that
entire scene. That scene alone it makes him S tier.
I like that episode. I don't know if I go that far.
I can't go S.
It's a self-insert for Arza. Look at him. Look how he's dressed. It's Arza.
Yeah.
It's also, is that the guy playing Giles and Buffy?
What? No, that's Anthony Stewart Head.
Mm-hmm.
That's Giles from Buffy.
It's not.
No. This is
James Spader.
Yeah.
Oh, I think you said the guy from The Office was Anthony whatever Head.
No. Buffy is Anthony is a Head.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, he's a British guy.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of British guys, Idris Elba. Very short in the show. I'm blanking on his name. He was there for a very short period, but he was there to, I think, more drive a secondary story.
I didn't like him.
To give it a life him. I didn't like him either because he definitely was definitely a bootlicker.
He came in as a boss.
Corporate.
Huh? Okay.
Well,
I was telling.
Okay, he was a corporate boss that was over the top of multiple. He wasn't Saber. He was. He was before Saber.
That's right.
To the point that he ended up driving out the regional manager of the office because he wouldn't do stuff. Now, at this time of the show, it's during the recession that we were actually having in real time. So their
Okay.
offices were losing money. They're really having to shut down other branches, and
So
so
they're
he's coming
mimicking-
in. Right. So he's coming in having to make cuts. He's coming in to be the hard guy that says, no, you can't have this party. No, you can't do overtime because we don't have the funds. We are not in a good state. So he's playing, he has to be the bad guy.
And
I
he
also
can play
feel like
that.
part of his job was to correct the issue with The Office having the wrong main character. Because he
Steve
came
Carell?
in, season 3 or 4? Yeah, Stephen Carell was the main character of The Office in the first 2 seasons. But after that, they swapped the main character to being Jim, which was the correct choice because Steve Carell could not carry the show. He's
No,
a
this is
terrible main character.
this is I disagree. We'll get to
Sorry,
we'll get later.
That's
That's later.
Yeah. I think that his job in the show was to facilitate that switch of who the main character is.
I
hold
disagree
that
with his role. I think it was to add a new story, to add in another storyline, some realism with what was going on in the real world at the time, with the recession, with what everyone else was facing.
Was this like
I still want to put him. I want to put him C though.
I think so. Yeah, I could go with C.
I actually really like that plotline though, but yeah, his character can go in C.
Especially when they meet up with them at the picnic. Oh, then he's just an asshole at that point.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember that
shit.
scene.
The volleyball.
Yeah.
I don't
Remember
remember.
when they play when they find out Pam's pregnant?
Wow.
At that point, the person that she's gotten pregnant by is at least her fiance at the time.
Yeah.
A different fiance. We'll get to that. But so it wasn't like she was just sleeping around and got pregnant by some random person.
Yeah, it was
okay, the next up is Phyllis. Phyllis is not a writer. She actually was the casting agent.
Mm-hmm.
And then she just filled a spot at a desk, and that actually got her a permanent role, and she ended up being there for the entire run of the show.
Yep.
Huh.
Phyllis, I think, is S to A because she is a bully. She may have gotten bullied by Angela, but her and herself with the way she manipulated people, I think.
Okay. I think she was just playing politics for that, but okay.
So that's why I'm fine with A and not S.
Bob Bench refrigeration.
See, I hate her character as well because I have a lot of issues with The Office, but I think I can respect her going to A for the role she played, and of course the 50 Shades of Grey episode is.
Oh yeah,
oh yeah.
For those who haven't seen, this is right as 50 Shades of Grey comes out. She has a player. She's listening to 50 Shades of Grey while at work, and she just starts audibly moaning and rubbing herself at the desk all day. And nobody will do anything about her pleasuring herself to 50 Shades of Grey in The Office.
They're just all like, it's not happening. It's not happening.
Nuts.
It's one of the funniest episodes.
A for anal?
A for anal. There we go.
That's perfect. And she played the character perfectly.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Plop.
Granted, that is not his name. Now, that was a nickname. He was also called at one point
Young Jim.
He only was there for 2 seasons.
No, he was there the last 2 seasons. No, he was there the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Huh. Now, why did he have a name of Plop?
No, he was only there for 1 season because he took the place for Kelly.
He was a salesman when he was there.
He was in the back. He was in the annex.
Yeah, him and Clark, dude, they had no place to put him.
Both were in the annex. Yeah,
they put him in the back.
They were learning to be salesmen. They were learning.
Right, but they came in. Actually, he was quality control. He was quality control handling complaints.
That's right.
And the thing is that him and Clark did not show up until Kelly left. And Kelly and Ryan didn't leave until the last season.
I thought they left before that.
No, I'm pretty sure these guys were there before that. I'm pretty sure they were in there sooner than that.
Yeah, Because Kelly tries to get with him.
Yeah.
No.
I thought she tried to get with him, and she played him and Ryan against each other.
No.
No, women don't do that.
No, that was
No,
him.
Hold
That
on,
was
how
Sorry,
many
Tiny.
seasons did The Office run for?
9.
Emerald is correct. They were both introduced in season 9, episode 1.
Thank you.
Huh?
I thought they were introduced a lot earlier than that because I feel like they
That's
had
what
really
too.
substantial roles in the show.
No, they were
What else is
only there
substantial,
for the
but-
last season.
Huh.
Okay.
But
He was funny, but I don't think he was important.
no, well, he was there for
Aaron.
the eruption for Aaron and Andy.
Yeah.
They were also designed to act as basically replace what was lost between Jim and Dwight as
Yeah.
they had matured through the show.
Because they called Clark Young Dwight.
Right. It's an
B?
interesting name.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm good with B.
He was a funny character. I liked him. He wasn't great.
Oscar is next up. Oscar was there the entire run. He's
a writer?
No, he was not. He wasn't a writer. Yeah. Oscar also plays the extremely liberal cast office member, very
Gay
much
as
into
well.
politics. He's one of those people that you know in the real world that will always go, yes, but.
Of course. Yep.
Or actually, yeah.
Or
He is
actually,
also
yeah.
similar to Angela. He's also into things that start with the letter A.
Right. But he's
Okay.
gay.
Hip-
Yes.
Ah.
He's into anal.
But he is also another hypocrite.
Correct.
Nice.
Not as bad as Angela.
Penis
Nowhere near as
opens
bad as
up to
Angela.
accept
Let's
the
put
other
it this
one.
way. In the case of Angela cheating on her spouses, he gets into a relationship with Angela's husband.
Yeah. But to be fair,
Sounds
To be
like a
fair-
soap opera.
he knew he was gay before he got with Angela.
Very true.
So
I
this is
still
why
think
this
he's-
is why I would put Angela down to Toby because they're not the same.
Wait, but does Oscar belong in Toby?
No, I think
I don't
Oscar belongs
know.
one level above her.
I think I because he has more of a redemption arc a little bit in the sense that even though the two of them always combated the uber Christian and the gay character, which has that conflict, in the end he opens up his house to her when she's booted from her marriage. I think that speaks volumes.
Her kids
Your
living in
attention
a
and kids.
Yeah.
The whole point that he opened up his house to an enemy.
And she took
And
advantage of that
fine.
too. She took advantage of that, remember? She took advantage of it. She kept trying to like take over his house.
I think you're misremembering. She had a closet, and that was
No,
it.
his closet was a bedroom, but she kept trying to like influence the rest of the house. She kept trying to like make him change shit.
I think you're misremembering because she was only in that house and showed that for like 3 episodes at most.
I know, but remember he came home one time. She changed like his sofas or some shit, or she like decorated and he didn't like it. But like,
That
yeah,
was-
Other character?
That was
yeah.
no. I think you're thinking of Friends Joey and his new roommate.
No.
Because-
I hate Friends. I fucking hate Friends. No. It's this because
Me too.
like she gave him she had the closet and she was like, it's a bedroom. He's like, no, it's my closet. But he had a 2-bedroom apartment and he gave her one whole bedroom, which was his closet. So he had a huge walk-in, which was a
Yeah,
bedroom.
I don't remember this at all. I don't know. if
No,
you're
I don't
right or
remember
not.
it at all
I
either.
don't recall that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't.
You could be right. I just be. I might
Yeah,
just be
Yeah,
wrong. I legit don't
that
remember.
does not sound familiar at all to me anyway. But okay, this one I think is going to be interesting. Pam.
Yeah. Arza?
Pam was there from the beginning. She
Stars as
Yeah, just-
secretary.
she starts as a secretary, ends up moving, joining during the arc where the main boss of the show leaves to form his own company, and she tags along because she doesn't want to be a secretary anymore. Comes back, fails as secretary, then becomes an office manager by politics because she
But
was
she
able
really
to get that.
she does nothing. She
GEI?
created
Budget,
the
not that.
title.
Yeah.
She created the whole spot, and they just like ran with it. Like, oh, yeah, okay, here's your paychecks as office manager.
And on top of that, I think, and as a character, she's one that just, again, wants to just get along to get along. I mean, goes along to get along, doesn't want to make waves, doesn't really will stifle anyone else that she's with.
I don't know.
She expresses the fact that she just likes the way things are and is not open to change. Doesn't like to take risks. Only goes for the safe.
I related to her when I was watching the show when it was airing because that's how I was too. I hated change.
I remember liking her fine because I thought her and Jim were really for most of the show. I thought they were really the only redeemable parts of the show for a lot of it. So I actually quite like her character.
I did until the end, to the last third of the show when Jim had the idea in college for like that sports management company, and she kept like shutting him down, and then makes him fucking quit. They were making him a full partner in the business.
Yeah,
and shuts him down. But then like she gives in a year later after everything aired. They were like she agreed to let him go to Phoenix. They agreed to move to Phoenix. I think I liked her.
It was Austin.
No, I thought they moved to Phoenix.
No, it was Austin.
She was in Austin first.
It was no. They were still in Philadelphia. It was all in Philadelphia.
That's right.
Then they moved to the company to Texas.
Yeah. So before that, I would have had her as an S or A. But that storyline, then she almost like banged the sound guy. She almost cheated on Jim.
So no, the reason why is because the original creator of the show was going to have her cheat, and so she kind of led up to that story-wise, but realized that things were not working and they couldn't get it right, so they stopped it. And on top of that was protest from the actors and Pam and the actress that played Pam, going, "This is not right. You are destroying this character."
Yeah.
And so that was why the turnaround kind of happened really late in the last season of her now opening up and saying, "You want to know what? We should do this." And they did move. They sold their place and were moving to be part of the company that Jim helped start.
Right. That storyline made me not like her. Like, I just know.
I think she's a solid A character from her influence on the show and just generally being pretty strongly written, except for when the writers have a bad idea. You know, a lot of her problems with the characters are because the writers want something and what they want is bad, not because of any flaws with the actual character itself.
Yeah, right. Okay. I'll give you a,
Okay. This character was only in the show, and I'm blanking on his name for some odd reason.
Because he wasn't.
We all know who the actor is. It's Farrell. He was quite literally in the show for a 3-episode arc.
3 hour tour.
He came in as a replacement for the main character, which was played by.
He was D'Angelo Vickers.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, D'Angelo. So he was just there for the transfer in a transfer of power when the character of Michael left his role, and he was never going to be there for a long term.
Yeah.
His character was all over the place. First, he starts out seeming very competent, knows what he's doing. Then the second episode, he seemed nervous about everything, afraid to be in that role. And then when he got to the last episode, he was full of himself and arrogant and sexist.
Yeah.
He was a different character every episode.
Doesn't he die in a car crash?
No, he decides that he's like, oh no, I can pull the Michael Jordan dunk. Goes and dunks, but doesn't actually do it, runs, travels, and everything, jumps up, grabs it, and then the basket falls on top of him and essentially damages him. And the thing is, he doesn't die. I don't think he dies, but I think he gets brain damage so badly that he can't come back.
Okay,
yeah.
So that's a great way to get rid of a character.
But again, he was never going. The writers even said, and the producer said, he was only there for a couple episodes, just to span the rest of the season because,
You have to drag out the story.
yeah, to finish the season because Carell left before the season actually ended.
I'm
Why
okay with
did
him in
he
pretty
leave?
much any
sorry,
position
we'll
so
get to
long
that.
as he's higher than Michael.
I will not be able to give you that. I'm going to go with at least a B.
Yeah, a B's fine. He was there too. He
Why
wasn't there long enough.
No, he wasn't there long enough, and what he was doing, he served his purpose.
A little fill in. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Clark.
Funny story.
Clark?
His name is Clark Duke. And his
Yes.
name is
I've seen
Clark on the
clips
show.
with that guy, and like
Now-
when I have seen shorts or clips or whatever, I've seen
Now-
him.
Right. Clark, again, only there for one season. He definitely was. He wanted the role of a salesperson. Got junior salesman after having to fight for it because, well, the person doing the hiring was Dwight, and he just did not want to give it to him, but he ended up getting it. The one thing that he exemplified younger generation thinking that things should just be handed to him, because when he's like, I got an interview for position. I mean, doesn't working here for like 3 weeks give me anything? I actually have to work for this. I can't get it handed. So he
Give him a
definitely
lot. He was onboarded.
Exactly.
Now,
Sometimes that's a hard thing to do. So,
overall, I think he was a fairly good. I think he did fairly well. I
He's a
don't like
weasel.
the fact he is, but I don't. But he got pimped out to Jan.
Yeah, that's true.
Just so that the company could land a big account.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think for what he.
but isn't
for
that
what
what
he
lots
was-
of companies do?
Yeah.
And he was literally pimped
not
out.
Usually, yes.
Why do they have why do most places have pretty secretaries? Why do most places have young, attractive male assistants? So that they can use them to get clients.
Okay, so I got to put him at the same level as.
Okay.
Yeah, he should go right next to Young Jim, I think.
Yeah, we'll put those two next to each other. CFO.
Can't remember his name.
Yeah, I'm blanking on his.
David.
Yeah, David. Okay, so little known fact about this individual is he was playing a CFO. He's not actually a dedicated actor. He actually is a financial advisor
In real life.
and real life. And the thing is he had to do shoots and stuff while do the show when the market was actually crashing in between. So story from the set, when the show was not shooting and doing the scene at that time, he was literally on the phone with clients going on, and then had to go in and shoot a scene.
That's crazy.
I didn't know that.
Michael, David Wallace.
Yep.
Wow.
And
Wallace.
he played-
Now, is that any relation to like the other like Wallace News?
No.
No. Okay.
He also
It's
played
just-
a similar character in The Other Guys with Will Ferrell.
Oh.
Yeah.
Guy who jumps from the window.
Now, overall, I'm gonna give him. I would put him as a B. He fits the role. He does what his is there. He is the corporate, essentially trying to put a cap on it, but also on the other side is that he's an idiot because he was looking at an idiot boss and wondering what he was doing right because his branch was doing good.
Okay.
I think he's like Vicar in that he served his purpose, and I think he served it right. I don't think he's C or Toby, but I definitely don't think he's A or S in any kind of way.
Yeah.
Arza, thoughts?
I remember liking him in his role, but I'm perfectly fine to put him in pretty much any position other than anything higher than C. I'm fine with him.
The only thing I didn't like was when he invented that vacuum haircut thing. The
It's a suck it. It's not a haircut thing. It was to pick up the kids' toys.
Oh yeah. It was like one episode where he was like a slob. Other than that, I liked his character in every episode.
You didn't like Depressed David?
Yeah, that was depressed.
Yeah,
David.
I remember thinking about. I had forgotten about that because the one thing I will admit to is when there's a really bad plot arc for a generally good character, I'll just forget the really bad plot arc exists because they're usually really fucking bad.
The suck it was what ended up making him rich again because the military bought his design for using it with landmines.
Yeah,
Suck it.
and that's how he bought the company at the end.
Yep, and that's how he was able to buy the company.
What is
Because
oh,
David
suck it for the
Wallace
hair,
was
okay.
well, David Wallace
What?
was a CFO for the company for the show. I mean, for the company.
Yeah.
And when the company went bankrupt, he lost his job along with it because they merged with a different company, so he was out. That company that bought them ended up liquidating essentially, and Wallace stepped in to rebuy the paper company away.
So okay, hold on. Just so I have a little bit of a background, the
Mm-hmm.
whole context of this show was, of course, in The Office. What was the company they were doing? You said
Okay,
paper.
they
now.
sold-
Okay, so it's a Dunder Mifflin, and what they sold essentially was paper.
like
Like
They
reams of
also
paper.
had
paper.
yeah.
Like reams of paper,
Like
They
the
just
offices
sold
in schools
reams
and
of
shit.
paper.
Okay.
Now
That was
the
joke.
documentary,
They were a paper company.
they show at the end. It airs. The documentary was filmed over 9 years.
For PBS.
It was supposed to air on PBS. It was aired on PBS, not in real life, but on the show. But like
Yeah.
the thing was to show the life of the working man, of a working man.
An American Office.
Yeah. American Office.
Okay.
That's the whole premise of why the camera's there in the first place.
Unknown
Okay, so it's
fact.
a show about a show.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. An unknown fact that doesn't get really brought up, but is brought up by the creators of it, is the reason the PBS there is to document is because they recently had one of their employees commit suicide.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
the stress of an office life, and that's what essentially starts the documentary side of it to find out what's going on. And
What's
later,
causing
when
this,
Jan
yeah.
comes in to evaluate Michael, he pulls the one kind of pulled around. I mean, the unused suggestion box to make himself look like he's actually doing work. And they even have the character. They pull out one of them and says, "Could we do more to talk about mental health?" What? This
The
is all
character
this
killed
stuff.
himself.
It was the character that killed himself that brought the camera crew in to do the documentary in the first place.
Okay.
But no one really knows that because they really didn't talk about it.
Yeah, I had no idea
It
that was a
it's
thing in the show.
It's the
Yeah.
producers and stuff like that that talked about it, going, "Yeah, that's actually what that was."
Okay.
Yeah.
I never heard of that.
Okay, yeah, it's one of those things that's great about DVDs. They have additional features that you don't get on streaming
Well, here's
Or
my-
VHS tapes.
I agree.
or
yes.
VHS steps.
Or
Actually, they
VHS.
frequently included the specials at the back of the VHS. I know because many of my VHS have special features at the end of the movie.
A lot of
Okay.
these come from
Smaller
the
amount.
additional tracks of audio.
But one of my
Oh.
one of my biggest issues with The Office, and I know this is I watched The Office because of the clips that were going around on the internet, and the one thing I found out is most of the clips I was seeing were deleted. The funniest scenes from The Office were all deleted scenes. Something I ended up happening.
Well,
so like the
the
deleted
pranks are my
scenes-
favorite.
The pranks are great, but aside from the pranks, the best jokes, the best gags, the best scenes were all deleted from the show and were taken from extra footage reels. But that stuff was
Okay.
actually like fantastic. Whereas The Office, admittedly, is only like a mid-tier show.
Yeah, absolutely.
It kind of looks like, from what I'm seeing, how our
Yeah.
graph is forming. It's like,
Now, the thing about it is ours is watching this from a different point too, because of
Well,
it. And I don't like it.
Is
The
age,
fact
right,
is
too?
age.
I
Where
was
a lot of
watching it during COVID when I was 17 years old.
right. So that's the difference where we were watching
Yeah.
it live, and a lot of us can watch this and
In
go,
their
"Yeah, I know this
20s.
person." This is the same. The Office in itself is almost like is a different view of an office workspace, just like Mike Judge's Office Space.
Yep.
okay. Yeah. Well, that's where I got confused with the series and the actual movie. I was like,
quick,
how
say
are
hi,
these?
since Cass is in the chat.
Oh yeah.
How you doing, Cass?
Cass, my assist. Like I thought they were the same at first, and then I saw like a couple clips, and I'm like, okay, that's.
This is a remake of a UK show.
British. Yep, British show.
Okay.
That's starring Ricky Gervais as the main character.
And the creator of the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which do you know Mose was one of the creators?
Who?
The guy who played Mose?
Of the US version.
US
yes.
version, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
The guy who
He
played
is-
Dwight's
okay.
family member.
Dwight's cousin. Mose.
Yeah, he's one of the creators.
And the thing about it is that there is a thing called a Sherverse. His last name is Sher. He also he created he was part of the creating of The Office, Parks and Rec, The Good Place.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine too, huh?
I believe Brooklyn Nine-Nine as well.
Yeah.
Okay, I've watched some of that.
The last 3 ones are far better shows than The Office, in my opinion.
Agreed.
With Parks and Rec being the extremely superior version of The Office.
I'm not really a fan of Parks and Rec.
My only problem with Parks and Rec is it lost the ability to be satire because much of what it made fun of became reality.
Yeah.
Like Leslie Knope is a real person now.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you can see she's very, very democratic and liberal. Because like she freaks out meeting Joe Biden. Remember, she like fucking flips her lid.
The other problem is what they were satirizing ended up becoming reality.
Yeah. Now
I think that it has probably one of my favorite characters in any sitcom being Ben. But yeah, Parks and Rec, it's harder to watch each year because of how prophetic
realistic it's becoming. Yeah.
Okay, and the next one's Joe Bennett. She is the CEO and owner of a company called Sabre. No, it's Sabre. Anyone that's actually seen the show gets that joke. Anyway, okay, so she's the one that comes in and buys Dunder Mifflin after the crash and the buyout when Dunder Mifflin goes bankrupt.
Mm-hmm.
She's only there for a couple. She just pops in for a few episodes.
I hated her character because she was so hands off. She was what?
She was so full of herself.
Oh, I didn't care about that. It was the hands offness.
Hands off. Hands off? Yeah. Like what do you want? Hands on in the office?
No, like just like the
you want to know why?
Company.
You want to know why I'm going Toby on her?
Oh,
she was all proud of being a close personal friend of Nancy Pelosi.
Yep.
Oh fuck.
See, I remember liking your character. I mean, she was honey sweet, like too sickly sweet, from what I remember of her, but also kind of like not in a good way.
She intentionally married rich guy, and then divorced and took the money.
From what those guys are saying, she don't sound that sweet.
No.
Well, again, we're looking at it from different perspectives.
Sickly sweet.
Okay.
With different perspectives.
Not the good kind.
But yeah, like the sweetness didn't even register. We just saw
Southern iced tea levels of sweet, where it almost makes you feel sick when you engage in health.
Maybe you do.
I like sweet ice. I like Southern sweet iced tea. That's actually good. Okay, Packard.
I hate Packard.
It's quintessential alcoholic, sexist.
Can we add a D tier?
I like him as an actor. Like I find him funny, but okay.
He's a good actor. He's a real life alcoholic. He's got a bunch of DWIs.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I think he's a raging liberal too.
Yeah. Well, okay, fine.
But that's just
acting
the actor.
stuff.
But again,
the character himself fills a role. He does. Okay. He actually does. He is a crap character, but he fills that role as an idolized character for Michael that he follows, and is all he. Packard does it all, and Michael just sits there as a spectator, thinking he's part of it, and he's a friend.
Gotcha.
Well, he is the prototypical office douchebag. He does all the douchey stuff. He creates the toxic
trying to bang
culture.
all the women.
Mm-hmm.
He is the toxic office manager.
You know, I'll give you Toby because he poisoned the office staff.
Yep.
So the poisoning of it is he claimed he was in recovery and doing the 12-step program. So he came to the office to make amends and brought designer cupcakes. But what he did with designer cupcakes was he filled them with drugs, different types of illegal drugs, and then gave them to the office staff, and they ate them.
Wow. Wow. Sounds like a real nice winner.
Yeah. Cass is saying
Tiny.
hi
Cass
to
is
Tiny.
I totally didn't realize I was still muted.
No.
We
I was
didn't
wondering
either,
why you were
don't
so
worry.
quiet.
I
Yeah,
needed to mute for a minute, and then I thought I'd unmuted, and I didn't.
Hopefully we didn't ignore you for too much.
Not too much. I mean, I mostly just made a couple comments on what you guys were saying since I never watched the show, but I figured
Right.
you were just continuing on, and like my comments weren't that important because they weren't.
No, we weren't hearing you.
Well, no, we just didn't hear you.
We couldn't
That's
see
why
your
at
video
a
because we
certain
didn't have your
point-
name up.
Yeah, sorry.
At a certain point, it was just one of those that I'm like, I haven't heard from Tiny at all, so maybe I should make a comment towards her. Okay, next one is
I thought
Kelly.
she's mad. I mean, it
Wait,
was
no,
like, what
Aaron.
did I do?
Aaron.
No.
that's Aaron.
No. Kelly.
Oh,
Aaron.
come on.
Her first name is Kelly.
I know.
No, yeah. So Aaron, she shows up about halfway through the show. Is there from the rest of the why?
You need to bring the chart back up.
She.
You need to bring
Oh,
the
yeah.
chart back up.
Yep. Sorry. Okay, next up is Aaron. Like I said, she comes in about halfway through the series. She's a ditz. To
I
put it
liked her at
bluntly.
first.
She's the naive
And
girl
she-
next door.
She was, yes, in the beginning. But towards I think she got I think they just destroyed her character.
Yeah, agreed. They made her so stupid and just
Yep.
so like she was like the comic relief.
The butt of the joke.
Mm.
Andy fucked her like the way they had her bounce between Andy and getting dumped and not Toby,
She floated between Andy,
and
Gabe,
yeah, and Plop.
and then Plop.
So I think I liked her character a good amount. I think the problem with her is the people she dated drags down her level of her character.
No,
Like
Plop.
Andy's the real bad person in this.
Plop is the only guy that was nice to her. He treated her
Yes.
with respect.
Okay.
I think Erin is deemed as a worse character because she is almost a victim of the circumstances her character was put into.
Yeah, they wrote her towards the end because of what you said, as like she went
like
above
they
and
all
beyond
were.
to try and fit in. Like, hey, look, it would be funny if someone did this and like jumped through this wall. Like she didn't do that, but like she would be that character.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
She would try to jump through the wall to fit in. It's like, you know, she was adopted, and her whole storyline was like she never knew her parents.
Yep. And then in the final episode, her parents.
There's a massive
go back
cameo.
up and- yeah,
Massive
massive cameo.
Okay.
Forget the dad, but he was a big Oh, I remember now.
Ed Begley
Begley
Jr.
Jr. And Joan Cusack.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Okay. This one may be interesting, may not be. Kevin,
S.
I got to say S on it.
He's a writer as well.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, he was.
No, he wasn't.
He's
He
the
was-
office retard. But like
No, he wasn't one.
shockingly
He wasn't one of the writers.
Dude, it was him, Phyllis, and someone else were like Oscar, I think. Were like part of like the production team.
No, it was the person that played Ryan, the one that plays Kelly, Toby, and one other one, and that's it. Those were just the writers.
see, I'm gonna have to give him S, which I don't want to do because I don't
You
like
what?
his
I
character.
think he played dumb. I think he was the character that was faking it the entire time. Because if you notice the show right at the beginning, he was not dumb.
He was
As
super
the
smart.
show went on, he started playing dumber. But if you looked at what was going on, the whole point, he even pointed it out, going, "Oh, this guy, the black guy that came in that was a felon because of white collar crimes and fraud." He goes, it makes the observation, huh? That sounds a lot like what I do. And going, oh, so, and the thing
He
is,
directed an episode. That's what it is.
Okay, he directed an episode. The thing is that he played dumb, but let's put it this way. If he was so dumb, couldn't handle his money because he was supposedly he won a poker tournament. Yep. Now, so he's smart. And the fact is by the end of the show, when he was fired, he had money enough to buy a bar.
I think he was a dumb character who's playing dumb.
Yes.
Because I don't think I wouldn't call him a smart character, but he was definitely massively upscaling how dumb he actually is.
Yep.
And he's a very well handled and well written character, but I also hate his character. Because here's the thing, the stuff with like his turtle wouldn't have been there if he wasn't an actual dumb person.
But no, see, I think like he said, I think he was playing dumb.
But that's
everyone started.
He realized it was pointed out in one of the episodes is that the moment he did something kind of weird, the camera focused on him. It was to get focus of the camera. So the more he played dumb, the more the camera would focus on him. He was doing it for camera time. So no, him really going with that turtle, he knew it was dead, but it was playing along and everything just to again get more time in front of the camera and have it focus on him.
But also like with the episode where he decides to talk like he's having a stroke. I think that really shows that he's a dumb guy who's playing a dumb guy.
I don't think so. I think like
if you can play like you said, stroke, that's pretty good.
No, because what he established
that he knew what he was doing
is he decides to basically talk simple. He cuts out all the filler words. So it's like,
do you know the reason? No. Do you remember the reason why he did that?
Why use many big word when few word do?
Why?
I know it was to make himself look like an idiot to get out of some kind of responsibility.
No, it's because he gets along with his mechanic who is foreign and only talks like that. And so why talk big word when little work? He gets along with his mechanic and they can understand each other just fine. So why spend the extra time with all the extra words? That's why he does it.
Yeah, but that's still a bit of a retard solution to a retard problem.
But he knew he gave him screen time.
But he knew he gave him screen time because all of a sudden now all the characters are focused on him, thinking he's having a stroke. The camera's on him, the story's on him. That's a smart person that's looking to have the camera on him.
A smart and lonely person. I think he was a lonely guy and lonely guy would get. Yeah.
One of the worst characters, Andy.
Toby.
Yes. Fuck that guy.
Ed Helms is a great actor. Funny actor. But his character's shit.
His character was never supposed to be a long-term character either.
Nope.
I wish they followed their plan.
The only reason he took off was because of The Hangover. He got popular, and then the office did not want to lose him. So they had to make a huge story arc of a change in character that by the end of the show reverted right back to.
Okay.
Toby.
No, you gotta put on the top of the Toby tier. He's gotta go
I
top.
think C. I'm
happy with that,
actually. I kind of want to say B.
I'm happy.
Okay.
I actually like Toby kind of. I think he's really funny.
I say C because of his refusal to stop trying to get with Pam. But I could see the argument for B.
Yeah.
Now
I loved it.
He is the Scranton Strangler. He is.
The writers and producers came out and said no, he was not the Strangler.
I don't care.
They do leave enough things in there to kind of make you think that he was it.
Well, I saw something the other day that that the car at the scene was the same car Toby drives, exact same car.
The actual writers of
I know what they said.
No.
I know what they said.
The writers said no, he is not.
I disagree with that. There's enough
stuff. I know you may disagree, and you can because it's a good conspiracy theory around that because there's been literally documentaries made around the whole point that he was using these really flimsy things. But Some of it is because it really is in there, but
Granted, it would be contrived if the Scranton killer was on the jury for the Scranton killer trial.
Well, because
if they caught the wrong guy. The thing is they say because they caught the wrong guy, but he ended up getting put on the jury. And the thing is that the conspiracy theory goes is that because he does go to talk to the strangler in prison, and the theory is he told the truth that he was the guy that did it, and he was the one that was the deciding vote that convicted him, and so the guy who was wrongly in prison strangled him.
Okay,
he's a strangler. He's a strangler.
I do like Creed as the strangler too.
No, I think Creed is just a drugged out hippie.
And look, Creed is the actor actually does all the things most of the things the character did.
So we got rated by Third Railify. Thank you, Sean and Gina.
Wow, the pop-up really undersells the raid banner.
It does.
Yeah, it does. It's unfortunate, but okay. So,
Ryan.
This is Lieberstein too, and one thing is that Lieberstein not in the last, I think it's either last season or last 2 seasons, was actually the showrunner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I did not know.
And the writer. He was also the writer. That was the one I couldn't think of that it wasn't dawning on me.
Yeah,
he was also one of the writers. Okay, Ryan. Ryan also was a writer. Right, he was there for most of it. Yeah, I
agreed. Wait, but
the character was written to be a piece of shit, and he played the character.
What? No, not in the beginning.
You don't think?
When he was when he started off as a temp, he was a go-getter that wanted to move up.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Right. So, but as soon as he got there, he got overconfident of himself, then committed fraud, then arrested, paid his time, then went back to the office as a temp.
And was still a
conniving. He was always going to do whatever it took to get to the top fast. Even from the beginning, he was willing to cut every corner possible. But I think he should go in high Toby, not low on the Toby list. I think he should go higher.
See?
But he is a Toby.
Okay, Toby.
I can see a C.
Okay. Damn. We got 29 people here.
Welcome, everyone.
Well, the raid.
Remember to hit that like and follow, guys.
Yep. We'll go through real quick and say hello to those who've joined. Cassie.
Neurodivergent one.
Gina. Neurodivergent 1. Welcome. Let's see. Daniel.
Oh, Mr. Cunt.
Yeah, Mr. Cunt himself. Entropy Nomad. Welcome.
This is an office ranking.
Yeah, we usually the first week of the month we do rankings, but we didn't do a show last week, so we're doing the ranking this week. And this month just happened to be The Office.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the first 30 minutes of this show is just discombobulated chatting.
And at least 42.
And look, if you guys disagree with where we're placing these characters, tell us. Let us know.
Yeah, feel free to bring it in the chat, and we'll keep an eye on it and then tell you why we may agree or disagree. Okay, so we already know Arzo's thought on this character because he won't shut up about it anytime it's kind of.
I'm sorry, I brought it up earlier.
No, my opinion on this is far worse than what I've led on so far.
I think he is an A. I don't think he's an S. I think he is an A, and let me state my case real quick. Because even though he acted like an idiot, even though he seemed to be disruptive, he was running a very successful branch. While other branches were suffering, his branch was growing. He may have played the idiot. He definitely was one also that was desperate for attention. And so he did things for attention. But as a boss, I think he did a good job, and I think he was an A in that position. I think the show also suffered when he left. Now, granted, yes, I do think they did increase the story of Jim and Pam, but that's because those three and a little bit of Dwight were the core of the show almost from the beginning, because the Jim and Pam storyline started in the very first episode. Arza, go ahead.
I want Darnell to say his piece first, because I'm
no. I want to hear what you have to say. I might agree with you.
Before we do that,
I might agree with you.
Cassandra, Cassie, thank you very much for the gifted membership in there, and we will watch.
Got it.
And who got it?
Neurodivergent
1 got it.
Good to see you, buddy.
Okay.
All right, so my opinion on this is that Michael is the worst character in the show and actually drags down the overall value of the show by a significant margin. Not only is it that I find Michael Scott to be an unfunny character, I find him to be an actively not funny character. I feel like he applies negative humor to every scene he is in. I feel like he actively draws down the comedic value of every single scene that he is in.
Do you get his comedy, or is that like
I get his comedy, but I don't think he's good at it. And I think his character does it horribly.
I think that's also another generational thing, because I do agree with Arza. I agree with Arza in season 1 and the last couple seasons he was on the show. He was just like an incompetent dick. Like seasons 2 to 5 or 2 to 4. Yeah, 2 to 5. His jokes were mostly funny. He did a lot of the you could tell he was a lonely guy wanting attention, wanting friendship. And don't they even go into one episode that it was him and his mom, and like he had no friends growing up?
Something like
it was
something like that.
It was a bring your daughters to work day where they played the video of him. And they ask, what do you want? I mean, what do you want to do when you grow up? And it's, I want to have 100 kids. That way I will always have friends.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
now okay, go ahead and finish.
But he also has some of the most cringeworthy episodes. I mean, scenes where like I've rewatched the show a few times, I will skip the episode or the scene because it's just so cringeworthy.
There's only one for me.
Which one?
Scott's Tots.
Ooh, that's a bad one. Yeah.
Scott's Tots, I think, is the worst one of it.
That's a bad one.
His role was the cringe character. That was his purpose. His purpose was to be the cringe. And the thing is because he is socially awkward. But if you look at it back at the episodes specifically around when he forms the Michael Scott Paper Company, he was, when he went in there to essentially sell the company, he had them by the balls and he was selling it. Yeah. He knows what he's doing. He is a good boss. Now, granted, you know what? Yes, but his role is cringe. If you look at the Ricky Gervais, that is the role he's they're playing with him. And I think it is a generational thing with the cringe aspect of it that I think doesn't translate as much. But I still think, I don't think he's an S. I don't think he's a B. I think he's an A.
See, I can do cringe humor, and there are instances where cringe humor does work, but I don't think it worked with Michael Scott.
There was a few. I agree with him on. Yeah.
I think the opposite. I think there were a few where it did work. Like I thought the suicide episode was pretty funny, but even funny gags with Michael Scott. So basically, Michael Scott wants to do this like suicide awareness thing, but he does it in completely fucked up ways where he basically decides to fake his own suicide by jumping off of the building and landing on a trampoline. Of course, it doesn't work. He actually almost kills himself doing the stunt.
No. He never actually jumped.
No.
He
the watermelon.
You're right. It was the
watermelon.
Jump.
Yeah.
And he had the most, to me, the most memorable line of the whole show. Dwight, you ignorant slut.
Yeah. From that episode.
But
when he's on the roof,
when there were funny gags involving Michael Scott, they would almost always last too long and would end up subtracting humor from the scene because they just didn't know when to end the jokes.
There was a couple I felt that way, but most of the time I didn't feel that way. I get where you come from, though.
And I think the show really picked up when they reduced his role to emphasize Jim, Pam's, and Dwight's roles, which were in the second, third, fourth seasons.
To be fair, his role was diminished because he was doing other stuff and trying to leave.
Yeah, he was
But I'm
already
saying
in
the
the
show
band.
improved when his role was diminished and when he was gone. The only thing that I'll say to counter that is his role during the final wedding. That was a great role. I thought that was a great scene with him.
I have a hard time with it because I think the writers specifically realized that the ensemble needed to grow fully, that from the beginning, it wasn't a one-person show.
Yeah.
It was an ensemble focused around 4 characters, and that stems all the way back from the British version. The boss, the secretary, and the 2 sales.
Now, you keep saying 4. I do think Dwight, they realized Dwight was a major player, or should have been, so they upped his role.
But Garrett also in the original British Office was a big role too. It was because the combat between Dwight and Jim was there in the British version as well.
Yeah.
The core is those 4. Right from the beginning, it was that way.
I agree
Now,
with you.
so I think they saw the chemistry between like Dwight and Jim, that they grew it more because they saw that it was working chemistry, and I think that's what makes it makes you feel like they're taking away from Michael's spot, but they're really not. It's just what they didn't plan on. They ended up just growing more because it had good chemistry.
Well, it's not really so much that they subtracted, it's that they had to reallocate. So the time being spent on Michael was then moved to be spent with Jim, Pam, and Dwight. And while I do agree that the show is clearly meant to be a 4-person ensemble, I feel like they messed it up. I think it failed in execution. And they basically just turned to the Michael Scott show early in the show. It felt way too focused on Michael and not enough on the rest of the ensemble. Whereas where it shined was when the rest of the ensemble, especially Jim, Pam, and Dwight, were the focus of the show.
Yeah, like you could definitely tell they were trying to focus it on Michael at the beginning, and they realized Carell wasn't enough to carry the show at the time, so
I still think the focus was still.
I agree with Emerald.
I don't see that diminishment in him. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do because
I'm with you, Emerald.
I think we've had a little bit of an impasse. So you want to know what? We're going to open it up to the chat. So those that are in the chat, and if you want to put your opinion on where you think Michael should be on the chart, put it in the chat, and we'll take a look at it, and we'll put that in, because at this point he's teetering between an A and a B character.
Would you want to take him back out? We can circle back to him.
Yeah, because Michael
Jinsaki it back.
Yeah, since he's such a big part of the show, we will go back to that. Now this terrible actress from Doctor Who,
Toby, the character is a fucking piece of shit. The character, actress, everything.
Granted, she was actually really funny, and she
played this.
Oh, is it Donna?
Yeah, she played this. So in the Doctor Who, she was the same character, blaming everyone else for her fucking failures.
Donna.
I take it back everything I said about her. I was thinking of Michael's wife. My bad.
Okay, no. She's later.
Yeah, no, she was an incompetent bitch who hated everyone and blamed everyone else for everything.
Yes, she did the same thing in Doctor Who to David Tennant. Everything was his fault. Nothing was her fault. Like, he's the reason she didn't marry her husband in the first episode of Doctor Who. Everything's him, and I fucking hate anything she's in, except for the show she's in with on Fox now, which is actually pretty decent.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
she's
Dennis Leary. Yeah. Characters
in A's, B's, A, B.
Yes,
yeah.
Real quickly, yes, Cass. It is. I love my bot too. Make sure you hit that like and follow button, or ICE will make a random visit to your house.
We got an A and B for Michael.
Yeah.
Yep. So we'll keep
that in mind.
We'll keep an eye on that. Next is Holly Flass.
I love Holly.
I
so much.
I do as well, and I At this
That's
point,
kinda
I would
cute.
put her actually as an A. She is a
I don't remember
stability
what her role was.
HR.
Who let her roll?
Oh yeah.
She
Yep.
she
was
remember when
Toby's
Toby
replacement.
broke his neck in
Yep.
what was it
No,
No,
she
no,
was
no, no,
amazing. I
no,
love
no,
the
no, no,
character.
no. No, Toby left to go to Costa Rica.
Coaster? Yeah,
He came in to take his place because he was leaving.
that's right.
He came back because when he first got to Costa Rica, he fell off a zip line and broke his neck.
Yeah, his first
And
day
then
there.
his first day there. After he gets done with recovery, he comes back. Holly's then transferred.
Yeah.
That was
Holly goes
also
high.
after Michael Wallace found out that Michael and her were dating.
Another funny thing about that relationship, the episode where he goes to a dance, Michael goes to a dance, like a Halloween dance. The chick he goes with is his real wife.
Oh.
Is
Yeah, she's
Steve
not-
Carell's real wife.
Yeah, she's not in here.
No. But
He-
she's his real wife.
the
The one she has a
app-
cheerleading
right.
skirt.
Right. That, and for those that do remember the show, that was the real estate agent that sold Michael his
That
condo.
That shitty condo.
Holly, I'm gonna put in the A
Yeah.
because the entire time I don't think she really had much in the way of negatives. She's not S tier, but I think she was a good character.
I feel like if she stuck around longer, she could have been an S tier character.
Yeah, agreed.
She just didn't have enough to go off of. But she was really good with. She worked well with the entire cast when she was there.
Yeah, agreed. I love her interactions with Kevin. They were great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because they trick her and actually say he's mentally handicapped.
Yeah.
Oh God.
He's a DEI hire, pretty much.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's what they convince her of, and so funny.
Oh yeah, well I did say because even the introductions, because Kevin being Kevin, playing his role, he goes, "I do numbers." Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
And all this stuff. He's sitting in front of the vending machine, and he just pulled whatever was in his pocket, and he's trying to decide what to get. And she's looking at it, go, "Well, there's this, and this is a button," because she just pulled out whatever was in his pocket. I mean,
Okay.
You've done that. You pull everything out of your pocket to count your change. He did that, but she also was. They had just told her he was retarded.
yeah.
So she thought he was trying to use a button, but he wasn't.
I see.
Jim.
That
S
looks
tier.
like an S to me.
I'm gonna
I
say
say
either S
Arza.
or A. The only issues I had with Jim, and this is something an issue I have with a lot of sitcoms, is they decide to sitcom up the characters. It's a really big issue in Friends, where like Monica
All you have to say
especially.
is friend.
Right. They went and kind of clue into one characteristic and they overplay that characteristic.
Yeah, so I
Uh-huh.
think
With Friends, Joey became dumber and that became
Right.
the character.
yeah.
Right.
Rachel
I
became
think
more airheady.
right.
Yeah.
I
that
think
route.
though with him,
Monica cleaning.
right. I think with him though, he stayed pretty much well rounded because
Yeah.
he grew as the show went on.
Yeah, there were just a few times in like some really bad scenes that I can't recall off the top of my head right now, where they tried to do that sitcom change the style up that could lower him, but I'm satisfied putting him in S. It's just it just really annoys me when they do that in sitcoms where they'll just change like they'll like focus on one thing for a short period of time that damages the character, like Monica's OCD, which didn't exist unless it did, and when it did, it ruined her as a character.
The only thing that would make me not want to put him S is they got rid of all the pranks. The pranks are my favorite part of the whole show. Pranks he pulled. They stopped.
They didn't get rid of them fully, but they did really reduce it, and that was what kind of reduced it a bit was the point where he became assistant regional manager or co-regional manager.
Yeah.
And that was mainly, again, I think rightfully so for the character, is the fact that he's now Dwight's boss, and it's like punching down.
Yeah, well, it also shows
even when he goes
level
back
of
down,
growth.
though.
It shows development
It shows
in the
growth.
character that he's no longer this pubescent behaving.
Right.
He had to grow up.
Yeah, and then the investing in the company, investing in the sports company, and you know all that stuff. Yeah.
I can see an A.
I'll
If you
vote
want to
it.
go S, I'm happy with S. I'm happy with A. I'm happy with both.
Okay.
He's somewhere between the two, low S, high A.
And well, another reason I wanted his ass is all the scenes in the intro were filmed by him, by John Krasinski, when he
and his friend went to actually go
to
visit
Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And he was filming with his phone, or not? He was filming out.
It was actually with a
he was
hand
driving.
camera.
Yeah, he was driving around Scranton and he was filming. So all the scenes in the intro that are like of the city is filmed by him.
Also, the gym
It takes
face.
place in Scranton.
Yes.
It takes place in Scranton.
Yes.
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 Oh my god, that's where my dad's family's from. I don't think I ever realized that.
But also Jim
Yeah.
was known for his reactionary faces, and that has become a consistent meme throughout history.
Yes.
That is a solidified trope now.
Yeah.
Okay. The next is Creed Branton, who is playing Creed Branton,
Yeah.
a singer from the band Grassroots.
Yep.
They even touch on that and even play to the fact that he was wanted for selling drugs during Woodstock, which he was at with the Grassroots.
Yep.
He's S.
I agree. He'd be
Sounds
my
pretty
other
base
choice
to
for
me.
Scranton Strangler. But I still
one of
think
the
it's
best one of the best scenes is that when the company was looking like it was about to go bankrupt and they're doing that murder mystery thing and he walks in late and he asks the boss what's going on. He goes, there's been a murder and you are a suspect. He's okay, well, let me just go put my stuff on my desk. And the next scene you see him running to his car and running away.
No, that's not the best scene. The best scene's the Halloween party.
Wait,
Oh,
which
real
one?
is that real? Oh, nice fake blood. Fake.
Oh yeah.
Basically, there's a Halloween party. Creed doesn't know what's going on because he's high off drugs, and he shows up completely coated in blood, and everyone thinks it's his costume.
Yeah. So like the character never laughs. The character just plays like this dude like doing all kinds of illegal shit. Like he sells a lot of office equipment out of his fucking house he steals from the office.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's the most
Sidebars.
He's the most he's the most like the real life person out of all the like the way it was written.
The thing about it too is the whole point. He completely forgets what his job actually is. I can't remember. And he comes up with this different word. Yeah. He's quality control.
Okay.
But he can't think of it. I mean, and all this stuff. And then later, and that same scene too is like when Holly first shows up and asks him, so what do you do here? And it goes to the cut scene of the confessional. He goes, what is up with this woman? Why does she need to know what I do here? Why is she asking me these questions?
Yeah, because like all these pictures where they're in front of like the window with the blinds.
Yeah.
That's like the confessionals. Like, they're doing confessionals. Like the film crew is filming them and doing confessionals.
Get it now, yeah.
That all like the horizontal.
I was wondering
lines.
why. Yeah, I was.
Yeah,
thought they
all
were doing
confessionals.
prison freaking pictures.
Oh,
Okay,
agreed.
next one.
Agreed.
Jan.
Agreed.
Well, she's POS.
I
Yes.
hate her character. That's Michael's boss.
Oh,
And wife.
And then
And
later,
wife.
no, they never.
No,
married.
no.
They just dated.
Yeah.
They date. She's fired and then essentially becomes a shiftless layabout, spending his money. Then they end up breaking up. And then that's essentially the end. And then she shows up, and that's who they pimp out.
Of course.
Like
Him
literally,
too.
like he becomes her assistant, so she can fuck him, and they use him, and I think she pimps him out to the other people to get clients.
No.
Wow.
No.
Clark is pimped out to her to get the account.
Oh yeah,
That's the only
yeah.
time. You're thinking of Hunter,
Yes.
her
Yes.
young male secretary,
That's what I'm thinking
which
of,
they
yes.
believe was actually the mother of her child.
The father, yeah.
The father of her
Yes.
child,
Yes, I remember now, yes.
and was cheating on Michael with him.
Yeah.
Yes.
I picked the wrong
Hey.
profession. I should have been in office freaking work.
Yeah,
where
I
get
do want to
laid
argue
more.
for
Yeah,
going a bit
right.
higher because her role was like perfectly done and handled. I felt like I thought her character was well written for what she was supposed to do, and I thought it was very well done and handled.
Okay, yeah, I could see the character I hate, but the way she played it, I could see a C.
I mean, it's very hard to write a character you hate that much.
Yes.
Then they've obviously done their job right.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the writing of it. Yeah.
She's basically Amber Heard. That's her character.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Good one.
Hey,
all right.
So after the seeing what was put into the chat,
got an A and a B.
A and a
three
B.
A's and two B's.
Was there another A? Who did we get the other A from?
The chat.
Oh shit.
We got. I only
Entropy.
see one A and
Entropy
one
Nomad. Entropy Nomad said A and Cass said B.
Yes. Okay.
plus my A.
My A.
What's your A?
Your
That's
A.
3 A's.
I guess I unfortunately have to concede this point because I mean I cannot express how much I despise Michael.
I'm
Scott.
with you.
I understand. No. I don't disagree your point of view on it, but I just don't agree.
Yeah.
You agree with what I'm saying, but you think that's a positive.
No. I agree where you could be coming from in those points, but I don't agree with that stance
Okay.
of the character.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Two of the most poignant moments in this show. I say poignant. I guess I feel a lump in my chest is the episode he leaves. Like when Jim, when he's talking to Jim and Jim realizes you're not showing up tomorrow, and the things he says, I start to get a lump in my chest. And then
actually what I said about the sitcomification, if they didn't sitcomify him, he would have been the best character.
Mm-hmm.
If they didn't insist on turning him into a sitcom character.
Yes.
If they wrote him like a real character, he would have been actually really good.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It feels like I said, after the first season, and then towards the end of his run, they made him really vindictive and almost evil. Like the way he'd feel slighted, so he'd go scorched earth on somebody.
Yeah, but I think it was it episode 3 that was the really racist one?
No, it was actually number 2, Diversity Day.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that episode, I actually thought that episode was phenomenal. But even that episode, I felt like when he was doing something funny or the stuff was being funny, I even felt like I was feeling like the harm from his character in that episode when I watched it.
Mm-hmm.
They realize, but the thing about it is that the redesign that did happen of the Michael Scott character from season 1 to season 2 was the fact that they did realize that the cringe nature that character needed to be to kind of match the Gervais version did not work with American audiences. It's fine with British audiences. It was not going to work with American audiences. No. And that's why you did see kind of a major shift in that character between season 1 and season 2.
But they shift back to the last few seasons he was there.
I would say not the last season. The last seasons where they with him departing, that's where I think you start to see him move away from being that and start to grow as an individual, moving away from trying to round him out, to move away from the pettiness, the fact that he did find his love. He did have that. The office was not his life. He now realized family was more important. So definitely in the latter half of his last season, they definitely started to make those changes.
I'm just saying before that though, they made him really
they did a little bit.
Really
but
cringe.
Also, but some of that vindictiveness too was longing because of some of it was wrapped around Holly.
Yeah.
The fact that she gave up the relationship so quickly, so there's a little bit of longing and wanting that because he felt that was the one. That one worked and it was ripped away from him, so there was that little bit of vindictive. I would say almost kind of anger that just kind of was always at the surface that made him lash out a little bit more towards other people and made his little bit of vindictiveness that normally wouldn't have been there a little bit more present. Okay, so before we
pretty good detail.
Before we final up, each person may take one character and argue their location on the chart. And since Tiny will probably be the easiest to go. We were going to start from the bottom and move up.
How dare you call her easy, Emerald?
Really?
Opinion of change that may not need to be argued as much.
I don't need to move anyone. I don't know anyone. I don't understand.
See,
I listen
that's
to
the reason
everything, and all
why.
these people seem like awful people.
Right? like
But I'm actually going to do my outro right now because I have to
Okay.
run.
Yeah, that's fine.
And you can find me on @WhoopiBox on X. I'll be here every Friday. Try to be here every Tuesday for Nerds on the News. Love you all. Have a good night. Bye.
Tiny, take it easy.
Tiny.
Night, Tiny.
Okay, next up, Jay.
Well, I
Based on what
looking
we
at
have
this.
said about the characters,
Yeah. Well, from what I'm seeing, I don't know. I kind of think that you guys have nailed it just based upon how you say that how these characters are, and even with the disagreements between the generational gap of viewership, I think you guys have nailed it pretty good. I would almost say that the 1, 2, 3, 4, the hooker boy, 1, 2, 3, 4.
yes,
That guy, yeah.
Arc.
I would almost say go up one there just because how he is. I find him funny, and every freaking clip I've ever seen of him in it always made me laugh.
He does
Like-
have some
like-
good funny lines. Funny,
Only
like,
problem is he
maybe
is
just
very
the
funny in
clips.
his character, and he's only in the one season.
Okay, so yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, then at that point, you know what? I will contest to just leave it alone. You guys have obviously nailed this one pretty good.
well, I'm kind of agreeing with you. I could see him being an A because just of what you said. Like he does have some funny lines, and like
And I see more of
actually does
him.
Actually, you want to know what? Based on the fact, you are bringing up some good points, and the fact that he actually is, I think, more impactful.
Well, I find
More
him funny,
so-
like all the clips, like him and obviously, sorry, Arza there, but like Cornell's,
Michael Scott.
yeah, Corell, sorry, yeah, like I've always seen them, like they always use them in memes.
Yeah.
Problem is, Jay,
All
what
the
you're
time.
forgetting, and I came to this conclusion: what you see online are the best of the best, which means you're missing all of the bad.
Exactly.
Well, the only reason why we don't put Michael Scott as S tier is because of Scott's tots.
Scott's
I don't
thoughts.
remember
Okay.
Scott's tots at all.
When he was starting out, he went to an inner city school and promised to pay for the college tuition of all of the inner city kids if they graduated. And they had the largest graduation class, and he was expected to pay for all of their colleges.
It'd been like what 40,000 for like 20 kids, 25
I
kids.
forgot about. Fuck that. Yeah.
And you
And
give them
then-
laptops
and-
or something.
No, worse, laptop batteries.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I forgot about Scott's tots.
Yeah. Okay. So because he did have a big impact, but I think we're gonna kind of keep him at B,
Makes
just
sense.
due
It
to
works.
the limited time that he was on the show. Had he been in the show longer, and especially with his interactions with Dwight, I think he could have moved up.
Ooh. Oh, Clark.
Clark.
So okay.
Okay, so the next up to petition a change is Arza.
All right, I'll do a positive change instead of anything. So I'm actually generally happy with the way this chart is laying out, except for Michael. But I'm going to argue that I
And
think
we-
Aaron should probably be at least a little bit higher, at very least higher on the C chart, if not up to B. Because while she did do some dumb things, her character was generally very consistent as the naive girl next door. Even when she was being dumb or clumsy, she still fell into that archetype of the naive girl next door.
Yeah.
That's the fourth girl on C.
Yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
Aaron.
Her.
Aaron's
Yeah.
right here.
Aaron. Yeah.
You know, she
My-
was always kind of nice and never really responsible for a lot of the shitty situations she ended up in.
My problem is that I don't think she really grew much as a character overall, though.
That's true.
And I think that's
I think she got dumber as the show went on.
maybe a little bit, but no,
Or did you just
I hate
expect
to
that
say-
she
I
was
hate
I
to
going
feel
to be
like
dumb?
she stopped trying to not look dumb.
Victim
is the
of
best
I think she got stuck in the victim of circumstance.
Yeah.
So are you guys going to leave her there?
I'd say we move her to the left, a little bit up the C chart.
Okay.
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 Yeah, we'll put her there. We'll put her
Wait,
at the top of C's.
Okay.
See.
Okay.
Si, senor. I think
Darnell.
Roy should be an A. I just, as much as I hated Roy the first time I watched the show, rewatching it again, I liked his character. I liked his progression. Like the character, like building, and by the time you see him at the end of the series,
And even his and I will give you that. And even his freak out where he did get violent, he did go off. I mean, and then in the show he got a DUI because it's all standard breakup stuff. Now, granted,
Yeah.
but a man that just crashed out after a long-term relationship that's suddenly on the verge of a wedding is called off after years together
and
stuff.
not just called off for a guy and a coworker. She
Well,
works with.
that was later found out. Not that he didn't find that out until after they had gotten back together dating. That's when he found out about that. So you want to know what? I think I tend to agree of moving him up.
Roy is a super relatable character. He's actually a very real character.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't feel very sitcom, and you can completely understand where everything he does is coming from. Even when he attacks Jim kind of deserves it.
Yeah.
He literally stole his fiance.
Now,
And-
granted,
and-
Roy had his fair input in that, but still, I agree
Yeah,
with
Roy
Arza.
could have been a
Yeah.
better boyfriend, but that's also very realistic to how a lot of guys are in relationships. And then, of course, there's the fact that without Roy, Dwight and Jim would probably have never grown as close as they did.
Yeah.
He's really the
yeah.
catalyst for their connection because of when Dwight defends,
Dwight defends
Roy.
him, yeah. Jim.
Okay.
Or defends Jim, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I am not going to recommend any changes. I think I am happy with the way this list currently sits.
It looks pretty
Alright.
pretty good to me. For what you guys have explained, it looks pretty good. And it looks like it's moved up from being a mid-tier style show with their actors and actresses up to a something that I might actually give a shot watching.
Right. Now, I'm glad you said it because I was going to say it's not the best show on TV. It never was. I got into it because a girl I knew in Florida was like she is an Office fanatic, right? So this is 2009. Like we get on chat together and we'd be like, okay, I'm starting an episode because it was on Netflix, and we both start episodes at the same time. And at the end, we talk about it, we chat about it, and then start the next episode together.
Nice. Okay.
Okay, well, you want to know what? Okay, before we get to sign-offs, you want to know what? Someone in the chat would like to disagree about a certain posting. Dwight. Entropy Nomad says Dwight A, false S.
I agree with you.
Oh.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Because he's so integral to the show.
I
such
think
important
somebody's
character.
I think somebody's not happy.
The person that needs to either approve of the going up or down is going to be Arza.
Uh-huh.
My only issue with Dwight is I feel like they do far too much that sitcomification. There are parts of Dwight that I really like, but I think by them going so over the top with so much of it, they kind of harm. It creates a lot of reason why people wouldn't like him, and being compared to Dwight's a bad thing. Like there is nothing redeemable about being compared to Dwight.
Well, wait. I was gonna wait for you to finish to say this, but I gotta interrupt here for a second. When Angela has her kid,
he steps up.
He is a good father. He's a very good father,
and he thinks it's his, and she tells him it's not.
Oh.
Like the fact that he did the lengths he went to find out if that's his kid or not, to me,
Did
like
he stick
really
around?
redeemed the character. Oh yeah.
Yeah, but he stuck around even knowing that he wasn't the father.
Oh yeah, he stepped up. He stepped up
Oh,
hard.
then okay, he's a base dude then. He's still helping her out.
He stepped up hard. Yeah, and
Entropy Nomad says he ties them all together.
That's agreed. Agreed. Him and Jim are like glue for this whole series.
Yeah. Okay. I guess I can concede low S. Low S.
Okay.
No, I will also say he's the kind of guy who once he commits to something, he goes all the way in on it, which is
right.
I mean, if you
It's a
remember
good
the
thing
house
and a
party
bad thing.
event, when Jim writes the fake book on how to be a good host.
Yes.
And then he sticks to it. Even when Jim fucks with and leaves, then re-enters the premise like 10 times in a row, and every time Dwight sticks to the rules from that shitty book.
So, Entropy Nomad, congratulations in your petition to have Dwight moved to S tier.
But low S.
Yeah.
So there we are. This is the final list.
And that just brings it back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, it's not a great show, and it's back when shows were 24 episodes a season. So it's even though they're half-hour episodes or more like 15, 20 minutes, if you watch them streaming because no commercials.
Yeah.
It does get tedious if you try and binge it, which can kind of kill it for you. So if you do watch it in spurts.
Actually, no, I think it's a very good binging show. I binge it.
It's a good binge.
I
know.
binging
Yeah. It's a good binging show. I some way disagree, but it's a binging show for me. From How I Met Your Mother to Friends to The Office.
I mean, all at one time is what I mean by binge. Like binge a season, binge a season, take a little break. If you try and watch it all, like binge the whole show, it's a lot to take in. 9 seasons.
Yeah, it sounds like it's got a few up and downs.
Almost 200 episodes.
Yeah. I get. Yeah.
Now, I will argue it's one of the weaker of the sitcoms as well. I think it's worse than most of its competitors. How Much Your Mother and Modern Family, I think, are just the best, just from the dynamics of the characters in them.
And I think that's a generational because I cannot really stand Modern Family at all.
Neither.
I do like How I Met Your Mother because How I Met Your Mother, where it came out and where the actors are about the exact same age I am. So there was a lot more relatability when it comes to How I Met Your Mother.
Who's in
I
that
watched
one
How Much
again?
Mother to
Just
very
Neil Patrick
How I Met
Harris,
Your Mother,
Jason Segel,
yeah,
Allison Hannigan,
Josh Radner,
Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah, so Kobe
Smulders, yeah.
Okay.
But How Much Your Mother?
No, I remember. Yeah,
was very influential when I watched it at like 14, and that was like a very important show to me growing up. But I still think it holds up because I watched that show almost yearly. Modern Family, I think, is the most realistic feeling of the sitcoms, and that's why I really like that one. It feels very real, and it's the one that I feel does the least of the sitcomification of characters.
See, the episodes I saw made me feel differently about it. I feel the exact opposite.
And you want to know, I think I agree with you, Darnell. I think it's one of those things because you're just catching a few random episodes. You don't get the feel. Maybe it is one that maybe needs to be actually visited.
Yeah. And I remember when it came out, I did think like, oh, they're trying to do The Office by that whole documentary crew thing.
Okay, so they follow the same kind of idea, script line.
Yeah, it's a documentary crew following an extended family.
Of multiple different. So you have a gay couple, one of the sons and a daughter. The sons, yes, they're all related. You have the daughter who has a husband and their kids. Then you have the father who married a much younger Latina
chick
that already had a son, and that's Modern Family.
Yeah,
and then the gay couple end up adopting an Chinese baby.
I always remember seeing that. Yeah,
is it Vietnamese? Okay,
yeah.
like I said, I haven't seen a lot. I just know she was Asian of some kind.
And then the father and the much younger Colombian woman have their own son together.
Yeah.
And it's traversing their whole lives over the course of like 10 years almost. And I thought it did a very good job of handling that. And my parents also liked it. But then again, I'm the same age as Luke. So it could very much be a generational thing where my parents were raising kids the age of the kids in those, and they were the age
Right.
of the parents or had raised the kids in that age range. And I was a kid in that age range. But we watched it a few years ago, like 2 or 3 years ago, and we all really enjoyed it.
So you could relate with the characters within that, yeah.
And it may be that way when it comes to Modern Family for Arza, where like How I Met Your Mother, I relate more towards the characters of that show because they're within a year or two of my age that are being played on the show and what's being going on. Okay, so we are going. Thank you everyone for tuning into this episode of Insert Title here. We're going to go around the horn. Where can people find you next? Starting with Jay.
Well, thank you very much, Sarah, for having me on. This has been a blast, even though I really didn't know much about this show. Learned a lot about it. I'm going to give it a shot, actually. I'm going to see if I can. I'll start from the beginning and work my way up, and I'll let you know. But you can find me at Hot Wax on Rumble. I've dropped not anything on there, but I have dropped a couple like clips on Twitter, X, whatever that thing is. Yeah, soon we will have some music reviews. I want to get some albums put up, like maybe even see if people can request something I might have, and we can spin it, talk about it, or just talk about different music that they want to bring in, like stuff that like Arza was talking about. I'm going to check that stuff out. Drop any kind of music ideas into Twitter X, and I'll review them, and maybe we can get together. I'm trying to get up some ideas. I don't want just a basic review channel.
Yeah.
I've seen so many of them. I'm tired of those. I want something fresh. I want people's inputs. And we can have a discussion.
I forgot to contact my buddy. I just texted him when I told you about the music guy.
Yeah. And you can also find me here on Friday nights there with these lovely gentlemen. I love to hang out every night, 9:30 p.m. Best time. Sorry to anybody else that's on the other side of the country. But no, I'm glad to be here. And I'll hand it off to
Arza.
Well, you can find me at ArzaChats on YouTube, Rumble, Instagram, TikTok, and of course X, where most days I put out a video and then I'll summarize that video in a short video that goes on small channel places or small video places. Thanks, Emerald, for gifting me 1 month membership to your channel or subscription to your channel over on Rumble. So that's very fun. Thank you for that. I'm pretty sure I'll be on Touch Grass with Theo Snodgrass tomorrow. But then again, I never know what shows I'll be on until I get the actual link to the show.
Ooh. I'll actually get to watch it tomorrow. Ooh.
Nice. And aside from the videos I put out daily, you can just follow me on X, and I'll tweet wherever I'm going to be.
Sweet.
Darnell, where can people find you next?
Monday, I will be with Killer Games Mike and Sean on Pop Culture Beatdown at 9 p.m. Central Time. At 11, I will be with Moxie Dame on her channel. 11 p.m. Central Time on Rumble. Tuesday, I try and get to Nerds Covering the News. I can't always, depending on what the kids have that day. If I can't make it there, I'll be on Sean Third Railify, 9 p.m. Central Time, at 11, again with Moxie Dame, doing AI Dungeon, where we do fantasy stories. Thursday, I have AI Dungeon with Killer Games Mike at 8 o'clock Central Time, where we do horror stories there. And then 10 p.m. Central, I have Two Sieves and a Pig, where myself and two friends, we go over body cam videos, closed circuit TV, dash cams, whatever, of police interactions. And we give our opinions. We give facts about, why this was done, why that was done. This cop shouldn't be doing this, kind of like picking it apart and just kind of, educating people on it. And then Friday, Third Railify at 9 p.m., 11:30 p.m. here with this gorgeous man for insert title here. Lastly, go to my Rumble, the channel for official Sham Records. My AI created music, myself and a music partner. We have a bunch of songs already posted. We have more songs coming. We're going to lean more into the stupid type shit. So check it out. And I also make music for free. If you want some for a show or you just want a song made for you, Follow me on X, and I'll talk to me. I'll make it for you.
I need to talk to you about one there. A guy at work gave me some lyrics about a guy that we work with, and they're kind of funny that he got Chat GPT to make up. He wants it in a song, like a country song. So
Yeah, we could do that.
I'll talk to you later. But
Okay, well, thank everyone for joining in to insert title here, the Friday night show that's late night because when you got nothing else to do, you got us to kind of keep company. I want to really thank the mods to Neurodivergent One. Thank you for getting the links in the chat. Also, thank you to Cass, my other mod that likes to keep busy there in the chat. Thank you very much to both of you. Next, you can find me tomorrow morning at 8:30 PST in the morning. We're going to be talking about let's see, which Robin?
Tim Drake,
Yeah. No. We've already done.
Jason Todd.
No. Bruce Wayne's actual son.
Oh, Damian
Wayne. Damian Wayne. It will be tomorrow morning over on Capecast, over on Sammy 3P's channel, where we go into the deep lore of Batman. And then at 11 a.m. PST, we have Touch Grass with Theo Snodgrass, where I produce. Then I will be back on Tuesday at 6 p.m. for Nerds Covering the News back on this channel. And then on Wednesday, over on Devil Made Me Do It's channel, we have Make Me a Sandwich. And then next Friday, I will be starting the night off, possibly over its rotating schedule going forward, over on Iron Oxide's channel, doing the weekly Rogues Gallery, and then over on Sean and Gina's stream on Friday, and that leads it back into this show. So thank you, everyone. Make sure you hit that like and follow button. I really appreciate it. Continue to help me grow this channel and get me to that little bit of a creator program. And because you want to know what, that for me is a huge mile marker. I want to thank everyone for joining in. You guys have a great weekend. Stay safe. Enjoy the weekend. Because you want to know what? I have a feeling this weekend, Saturday, is going to be very interesting in the U.S. and possibly in other locations around the world.
keep your eyes on a swivel.
Yes. Before we go, I am going to set up a quick raid, and then we are out of here. So you all have a great night.
Who are we raiding tonight?
We're going to Darth Jansen.
Darth Jason.
Yep.
Darth Jason.
Jason. Sorry.
Yeah.
Confirm the raid. We are raiding out. Everyone have a great night. We will see you here next Friday.